Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and auld lang syne? For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup of Fluttershy yet for auld lang syne. Woo! Happy New Year for most of the world already. We got 17 minutes to kill here before it's official on Google Gregorian calendar terms. But I thought, we might as well start a little bit early because I thought that'd be kind of fun. So we're here tonight for those of you in parts of the world that don't celebrate New Year's around January 1st. I'm not sure how you know about our channel, but Happy New Year anyway. We're glad to have you here. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more Fluttershy specific New Year's art because of how much the Auld Lang Syne song goes on about kindness, which is really funny that this is like one of the only holidays where it's got like its own specific theme song. Like there's no other really New Year's theme song for besides Auld Lang Syne. It's really curious. It's not like Christmas where you got, buttload or Halloween where you've got quite a few, just anything spoopy and stuff like that. That's right. Happy fucking New Year. It's gonna be great. 2019, the year of season 9 of Whores, which is exciting. It means we're gonna find out. We're finally gonna find out what happened to Applejack's parents. My money's on Barn Collapse. Barn Collapse crushed them with all sorts of farming goodness, pitchforks and very I predict the episode will play out a little bit like a Final Destination movie where it's like one day it was just their time to die and they're going about their business on the farm and death comes after them. So yeah, that's basically what we have to look forward to. And I don't know, possibly the end of Gen 4 and stuff, who knows. Actually probably not the end. Based on like some of the predicted calendars I've seen like floating around the internet, I'm not sure how many of them are real or not, but there's talk of like something else coming up. Let me see here. It was Hasbro Pony Production Calendar. This is probably like the worst way to Google this because, of course, I'm just going to get a bunch of calendars, literally. Let me see if I can production slate. Let's try that. Just an estimation of upcoming horse-related productions. I did not save the one that I scrolled past. Okay, it's not going to tell me. Okay, whatever, Hasbro. Hide your secrets. But yeah, based on something I had seen somewhere, it was that there's going to be, obviously, Season 9, obviously. It was confirmed in song by Starlight Glimmer / Trixie during their little love number or whatever. We're getting a Season 9, no matter what. The question is any seasons after that and movies or specials or whatnot. So that's where all the big question marks are. I think it's fair to say we're not getting any more movies like the Sweet Edge Horse movie. That's unfortunate, but I don't quite see that happening. So I'm guessing if we do get any more movies, quote unquote, it'll be in the form of extra long sort of episodes or bonus type episodes like Best Gift Ever. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I'm hoping for more. Hello Gnome in the chat. Happy New Year. The I think our Euro followers should be getting up, ish in the next hour or two as well, so we can wish them a happy hangover as Vermont seems to be enjoying right now. So that's not entirely unexpected. Everyone all sauced up and celebrating. Are you Keemstar? No. No, only the beard. No, Keemstar is not important this year. Everyone knows what the most important meme of January has to be always and forever now. You know the way. It's not a coincidence that Uganda Knuckles is making a resurgence. He belongs to New Year's. He's going to become the new symbol of New Year's memes on the internet. At least that's what I would hope to help perpetuate based on his boomerang appearance on the internet the last couple of weeks or days since Christmas, I guess. So yeah, I will show you the way about about what we're gonna do moving forward. We need to find our queen and our commander. That's right. It's funny. It's like what's old is new again. It seems like a long time ago, but then again, it already feels familiar. It's like an old friend, your buddies from high school, and you go on college break, and you see each other, and you hang out, and you're like, it's just like old times again. That's the way it should be. So we'll see if we can meme this into existence and make him the New Year's fairy or something. I definitely wouldn't mind that. I greatly enjoyed Uganda Knuckles. It was even funnier because people got so sick of Uganda Knuckles that they came up with Tide Pod Challenge to kill themselves because they were so sick of Uganda Knuckles. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find that too. Okay, it's in the internet somewhere where they came up with Tide Pod Pony. Have they banned those yet? I know immediately everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, you got to ban them now." It's like, why? You got to let nature take its course sometimes. And if teenagers, I should specify, if almost adults are choosing Tide Pods over life, then maybe we should give them that choice. Okay, you're not going to load for me? Okay, I guess I'll find you another way. Come on, I just want this fan art. Where is it at? Also, you guys can bring up whatever topics you would like us to cover. We are currently in the middle of just waiting for the almighty hands of time to bitch slap us in the face into 19, and just hoping for the best for this year. That's what I know. I'm not. I'm slightly uncertain about is the future, because I thought this year was supposed to be really chill and whatever, but nope. It was quite a bit more difficult than I would have hoped. So that was a wee bit unfortunate. So in a lot of ways, I'm really hoping that this year, 2019, ends up being the year of, okay, we can actually just have a good year and whatnot. So don't eat your Tide Pods. This is a special message from EAST Corp Productions. Do not eat Tide Pod Pone. She doesn't want that, I don't think. Based on that look, it's a little bit nebulous, but I miss Knuckles and looking kill Alex meme. Captain Alex movie also behind the meme. Those I don't know. Hello, Sketchy Rivet. Welcome to Dewey. Welcome to our New Year's special, where we're talking all things horse, the future, and EAST Corp, and all that good stuff. I have had a productive Christmas break, luckily. where I focused very, very hard and got a good chunk of Confessions 8 written, which was my goal. That was my big goal for this break, was to get a ton of it written and finalized, like set in stone. For me, it was like set in stone usually means when I record a demo. The demo's usually like ironing out all the final edits and whatnot, and I was so happy with how these first 4 sections have gone. So now we have 2 hours worth of Confessions 8 done. It's a Duchess horror, basically. Done. And so, yeah, we're almost at the halfway point. It's not quite halfway, but it's almost there. So I'm hoping I can finish it up then in the next few months, do casting, and hopefully a June, July release. We will see. Based on what I've heard, I'm guessing we'll have, Terminal Secrets finale within the next month or 2 at the most. And also within the next month or 2, we will begin releasing The Great Experiment in pieces. So that's a lot of good stuff that will fill the void. And then we will have Confessions 8, which is going to be amazing. I'm very proud of this story. I think it's going to be a lot of fun as a penultimate tale. You get called a legend because of your leg ends. Yeah, that is true. That's how Nike was started. They're longer than the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's right. That was the intention. I'm like, if I can make my story longer than the J.R.R.R. Tolkien story, then I win. Now I just, I just need to find a good video game that has the Battle of the Somme and play in there, and then we are equivalent, me and Orange Free State Man. No, but yeah, I mean that is, all kidding aside, that is the only way to consume Lord of the Rings, is you have to watch the full extended director's cut versions on Blu-ray or 4K Ray. What do they call those, black rays? Because I know they're in like the black cases again, which is kind of sad. It's like, we had all these like really neat green cases for the Blu-rays because it's a Blu-ray, and then now it's, what is it, 4K Blu-ray or Ultra HD or whatever, and it's like they're just putting them in black cases now. It's so boring. At least like PlayStation 3, they put them in the clear cases, which was kind of cool. You could have aped off the death of the HD DVDs and put them in like red cases. Or how about like a silver, like a bright silver, like Pokemon silver? That would have been kind of cool. But no, we're going to put them in cheap black for, these giant 4K movies that no one really owns yet. We're very on the cutting edge right now. This is like, late 2006 Blu-rays in terms of 4K HD black rays. It's like, come on, man. Good morning, Chaos. Yes, our European friends should be waking up now. It's a good time. Everyone in America is still drunk, and everyone in Europe is post-drunk. So there you go. It's 3 a.m. and I can't sleep. Yeah, that's how I was the last couple of days. That was the side effect of focusing on writing, was I had less than conventional sleep hours, even by my standards. So it was like at one point in time, I got up at like 2 p.m. and I wrote for like 12 hours on and off, kind of cycle and take breaks and review what I written and read it out loud. And then like around 4 a.m. I was done for that session and I went back to sleep. And then like got up at 11, had my morning coffee when minutes of morning left, and then started writing again. And that's basically been my life since Christmas, which has been fun. But I got shit done. That's all that matters. Got another stack of like 30, 40 pages onto the pile, and that's what matters. Literally had a beer 3 hours ago to celebrate. That's hardcore. Purple. Oh, yeah, that's an idea. A purple cover with glitter and condoms and weed for stoners. I mean, they could have done like green too, but I know they won't do green because it's an Xbox connotation. But it's like, yeah, it's just like any other, a color would be neat, it's really not that expensive. I mean, you know, multicolored plastics is like this commonplace. I don't think, you know, I don't know. It's just cheap. That's all I'm saying. It's just kind of cheap. Don't drink beer and have a bare knuckle boxer. Yeah, I think you mean a bare knuckles boxer. Yeah, that's right. Lord of the Rings marathons. Yeah, I've had a few good Lord of the Rings marathons where one of them was the first one was when they did when they were releasing the Blu-ray extended edition box. They put them back in theaters for like 3 weeks over 3 like Saturday nights, and so I went with some high school buddies and my brother, and we watched you know, Fellowship the first Saturday, and then the 9/11 second Saturday, and then the Return of the King on the third Saturday. So that was a fun time. Yeah, you really, once you're sitting in a theater for 4.5 hours, you really notice how long the time is. Those seats are not comfortable enough for you to tolerate for 4.5 hours. So I remember at like one point after the part with the Pippin's song to the king, where like if Faramir almost gets like fucked over. After that scene, I'm like, okay, I need a break. I had to just go outside and like stretch for like 5 minutes and then come back. Because luckily it's getting better, at least in America. Like they're starting to upgrade all the theaters because people aren't going to theaters anymore. So especially in this area, they're like, all the seats are becoming like recliners and all the seats are reserved. So you don't have to like guess. It's not like a damn Southwest flight anymore. And then they're serving alcohol at a lot of theaters now, and food at more and more theaters. So it's interesting. It's an interesting co-evolution of the streaming movie, internet, and the theater. Oh my God, it's almost midnight. Wait for it. Wait for it. I see the numbers. I see the numbers. Come on, do it. 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 See, I don't have like a second hand on a second hand on the digital clock on the screen, so I can't tell when it's gonna do the thing. When it's gonna do the thing. I'm not late. A Skybolt. I time things exactly as they're meant to be. Whatever, you know. Oh, and there's the fireworks, and it's 12 on the computer. Yeah! Happy New Year! Woo! Subscribe to PewDiePie. Woo! Yeah! All right. That's do it in the Palpatine voice. My young apprentice. Happy New Year. I don't know. I don't have the Palpatine voice, just the Mr. Plink voice to the best of my abilities. It's more like you know, the sort of the Discord voice I did for a little while. Yeah, so New Year's, that's the thing. All right, so that's good. It kind of sucks. I don't like Christmas in the sense that like now we're in winter proper, and I don't know, winter kind of sucks. I never like, I don't know, like January's just like cold, and of course this is like sissy cold, you know, California and whatever, but it's like, it's just cold and there's not like a lot going on, and it's just really dry out, and I normally like it dry, but it gets like even more dry than I'm used to, and it's just like, I don't know, winter sucks. It's all about the not equinox. Oh yeah, the equinox seasons. It's all about fall and spring, bitches. Those are the times a year. Like between September and December, and between like March and May. That's the golden zone. Yeah, that's right. Jack Black has a YouTube channel now. Can you fucking believe that? That's gonna be the future of YouTube. Is just every famous celebrity, it just becomes like a secondary advertisement platform just for whatever their damn movie is and whatnot. It's like, don't you already have that with like Coco, freaking Conan O'Brien, Team Coco's YouTube channel and shit? Or you're like, oh hey, I'm Mr. Celebrity 879, and I'm going to be in movie number 4513 this year, releasing in February. I don't watch the Oscars, but I found out from, just the nonsense talk in the New Year's, like, news reports or whatever, that apparently The Shape of Water won the Oscar for Best Picture. Is that true? Because I remember when that came out, wasn't that, like, that's the Creature, the Black Lagoon, like, fuck some lady movie? That's all it is. It's like, it's an elaborate, not shipping, because it's its own character. I mean, I guess shipping technically, but like, it's like a kink. It's like a fantasy bestiality movie. Like, what the actual fuck? That one Best Picture? It's like, was that the secret fetish of a bunch of Academy like reviewers that were like, oh my god, finally I get to watch the Creature of the Black Lagoon sleep with some generic woman. It's perfect. So, like, come on, man. That's what got the Best Picture? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just like, that's the message that Hollywood is going to send, which is an interesting message, is like, come up with more really freaky, like, fetish movies for us to watch, I guess, right? It's like 50 Shades of Grey, get all your BDSM here, and they did. They got lots of their BDSM there, and now come to our have sex with fish movie in the Cold War or whatever. Now it's like, now that's the question, is like, what's the next fetish what's the next fetish movie that comes out and becomes Best Picture nominee? That's gonna be great. Yeah, Best Picture to Spider-Verse. Yeah, good luck with that. They'll never ever give an animated movie Best Picture. Has that ever happened before, even with like a Toy Story or anything? Let's go. Let me Google this for you. Any animated Best Picture winners? Oh, that's right. They made a separate category. First awarded in 2001 for Shrek. That's fucking cheating. You can't make a separate category. You damn Academy bitches. Let's see the winners. 2001 Shrek. For satire alone, Shrek did deserve that Oscar. 2002, Spirited Away, Miyazaki. That's a giveaway, obviously. 2003, Finding Nemo. 2004, The Incredible Man by Brad Bird Guy. 2005, Wallace and Gromit and the Were Rabbit. I'm not. What's that picture called with the Wallace and Gromit? That stop motion picture. I don't like that studio personally. I just like, it's not quite my kind of humor. It's a little bit off. Okay, well, this is like the death of art. 2006 Happy Feet. Are you kidding me? Happy Feet? That won because of the environmental message, no question. Monster House was much better written and portrayed. That was a good movie. Should have been Monster House. 2007 was Ratatouille, another Brad Bird. I'm gonna say that probably shouldn't have won either. That, I'm sure that won because it's like all touching and whatever, but that Persepolis, not that I saw it, but I heard that was a very artsy good movie. So this is just the Pixar like award basically. 2008 Wall-E, 2009 Up. Don't agree with that either. Secret of Kells should have won that. 2009. Fuck off. This is not the Pixar prize. 2010 Toy Story 3. Motherfucker. 2011 Rango. Okay. That was okay. I kind of liked Rango. 2012 Brave. Brave did not deserve that either. It should have gone to Paranorman in my opinion. Paranorman was a very, very excellent movie. 2013, Let It Froze, and not The Wind Rises by Miyazaki, man. 2014, Big Hero 6. Again, no. I don't know the Tale of Princess Kaguya, but I have heard that was a very nice movie. Song of the Sea, How to Train Your Dragon 2. Those were all good, not Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 was a little bit generic. 2015, Inside Out. Yeah, at least of the list, that was the best thing out that year. I already know 2016 is wrong. 2016, Zootopia. I didn't see Kobo and the Two Strings. I'm sure it's fine. It's whatever. But the real 2016 winner should have been Your Name. Obviously, Academy, you fucks. 2017 was Coco. I did not see that either. However, The Breadwinner was very good. Do I know that right? Am I thinking of the same thing? Is that the third Tom Moore movie? Yeah, The Breadwinner was very, very good. That was very excellently portrayed. Okay, and obviously this year it's going to be whatever this year's freaking Pixar movie was. So, yeah, so that's lame. I guess I'm particularly raw about this tonight because I just saw Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph Wrecks the Internet, and it was like, it was fine, Wreck-It Ralph. The first one was fun. This one was fun. Completely what I expected as a Wreck-It Ralph movie, based on the only other Wreck-It Ralph movie. But, ass. The entire preview section, almost the entire preview section, was a bunch of famous, classical, treasure, Disney animated movies, crappy live-action remakes. There's like 4 of them in a row. It was, what was it? Aladdin, Dumbo, what was the other 2? It was Aladdin, it felt like 4 of them in a row. And I was just sitting there in awe that I can't believe this has become a trend. And I hate the fact that it's become a trend so bad, because it's like, all this time and money they could be putting into another good classical 2D animated movie, but no, it's gonna be fucking live action versions of good movies that it's just, it takes the soul out of it. All of these, there's a reason they were animated. It was part of their character. It's like, I don't know, it loses everything in the translation, a lot of what made it what it was, and it's just completely shallow ripoff. Just total financial exploitation for based on name alone. I just like, I don't know. It just infuriates me. It's should not be this way. It should not be this way. What's the chat saying? Finding Depression? Is that a real movie or is that a joke? Finding Depression and Happy Feet sucks ass. Monster House is a classic. That's a great movie. Very underrated. That's right. # childhood ruined. Monster House. Never seen Zootopia. Was it worth seeing? Also, what is Your Name? Your Name is an anime. It's one of those one of those animus. Coco was good. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Zootopia is really good. Yeah, I mean, Zootopia wasn't bad. I'm just like, I'm just this is my initial reaction. It's literally like, it's almost insulting. They're animated like just separate category. They're just like, okay, this is whatever. I mean, I've heard people describe it's like the best picture is really just the best drama. That's really all it is. It always just goes to whatever the drama was that year. And I get that, obviously you can't just award best picture to the most financially successful movie. Like, I get that. It's got to have some kind of artistic merit. But at the same time, artistic merit to some degree you must evaluate art in the sense of how it touches and moves people. I don't know. Of course, this is a conversation as old as language. Is what is art? Is art apart from the artist? Is art interpreted by its audience? Is art apart from everything else? It's whatever. All I'm saying is fuck the Academy. Ralph finds Red Tube. Now, I remember when the movie was first announced, there was a few various fan arts of Ralph discovers Rule 34 building and whatnot, and it's just like, Vanellope von Schweep outside being like, "Hey, Ralph, what was in there?" And he's just like, just walks away. That was a good meme. That was a good joke. Zootopia. Apparently it's called like Zootropolis or something in the UK, by the way. UK has like weird names for movies. Like instead of Avengers, they call it Avengers Assemble because of course you can't supersede the glorious spy movie The Avengers where where Sean Connery is in a bear costume and stuff. That of course is above reproach. That is a property you must protect. So we're gonna call the world famous superhero team the Avengers Assembled. They should have just dubbed in extra dialogue where every time someone says the word Avengers, they're like the Assembled Avengers. Oh, so stupid. It's just like Avatar. I hate that for the same reason. It's kind of good in one way that the Shyamalan didn't name his movie Avatar The Last Airbender, and it's just The Last Airbender. But still, it's ridiculous. Live action movies are a waste of time, absolutely. Beauty and the Beast was good. Yeah, I'm not seeing any of these for the most part on principle. I hate the fact that this is what they're doing. Yeah, Princess and the Frog was like their last good 2D animated movie, and it was wonderful. It's like, it's almost insulting in a way that's what killed their 2D animation industry. Like, that's awful. I did see an interview with I don't know, one of the producer guys or whatever, where they said the name of it as Princess and the Frog was very damaging to sales because they thought that it boxed out the rest of the potential market by just, they said it essentially screamed too much that this is a princess movie. And I guess that, like, this is what they say. I don't know if I believe what they say because a lot of these marketing people, they don't know what the hell they're doing either. But that's what they're claiming is why it got such bad reviews and whatnot. Whereas looking back in time, I remember it did not get good marketing, for one thing. I barely heard about the movie when it was in theaters, and then it was already out again. So, I don't know. And then there was Tangled, which, that was the interview, is they said that one of the reasons the story of Rapunzel was named Tangled was because they thought the vaguer term, the more, what's the right word? Not non sequitur, nondescript, whatever. The more like, common sounding term of Tangled was more broadly marketable than, the story of Princess Rapunzel or whatever. And, it's just sad. It's really sad. And then of course they wrote that shit right into Frozen, which was, obviously that worked out for them, but I don't know. I hate how all the movies look like that now. They're all the same as, basically what it is they carved out Disney Animation Studios and just made it Pixar Lot B, which is really insulting to Disney Animated Studios, which have a much longer pedigree than Pixar, I'm glad that the Pixar computers and stuff are working out for them, but it's like, I guess that they're just admitting that, nah, it's really not about art. It really isn't. Like, I actually remember one of these YouTube, other YouTubers bitching about this. They're talking about how the decision to switch to zero graphing or whatever in Disney's The Black Cauldron, or no, it was the Robin Hood, where he's like a fox and stuff. Choosing that kind of zero whatever animation style was cheaper, but it gave the animation an overall lower quality, and that was one of the main complaints of people like Don Bluth to then leave the studio and try to breathe new life into that kind of animation, which to some extent he really did. I mean, Don Bluth had quite the career in the 80s, and I still like I still like Titan AE. I know it's like it's a very very cult classic-y movie now, and I understand the problems of Titan AE as well. It has some Star Wars prequels tier dialogue in places, and not all of the expressions and reactions are quite there, but just the same as the Star Wars prequels, it has a lot of redeeming qualities if you can sift through the garbage, the space garbage. And and also ignore the turn of the century 2000s music as well. That's honestly one of my big problems with Treasure Planet as well. The two like whatever songs in Treasure Planet are awful and dated. So I don't know. They should have done something else. They should have just done classical Disney-esque ballads. Same thing with My Little Pony. They keep screwing it up. Just do the fucking ballads. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. I don't want your fucking Saya. I want my Edgehorse Bay singing about her eyes, and I want Twiggle Twilight singing about what was that one song? Or Celestia's ballad from the season 3 ending. That's the good shit. It's just more of that. Just big, grandiose musical ballads. That's what matters. Animated movies are still treated as kid shit. Yeah, that's the problem attitude. And that's what, honestly, like, you think enough of our generation and the generation before would be old enough where they wouldn't buy that anymore, but it's like, somehow that is still like a governing principle in people's minds, and I'm like, really? This is like someone telling you in the 90s, like, oh, video games are just for kids. It's like, as soon as you hit, 18, as soon as you finish high school, you really shouldn't be playing video games anymore. That's kid stuff. It's like, what the actual fuck? Like, give me a break. This is all a generational bullshit thing, and I'll be so glad when the last of those people leave the industry and we can get back to the good stuff. Like Spider-Man. Yeah, Lord and Miller, they know what the fuck they're doing. Same with the Lego movie. They took that piece of heart, of enjoyment of Lego as a property, and of Lego as a nostalgic anchor for people, and they applied it so damn well, and they made the animation look pretty damn good for like, it really does look like a bunch of Lego people walking around, even though it's animated, rather than actual stop motion, which would be incredibly difficult to do. Yeah, and then of course, like, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is incredible. It is probably the best comic book movie, because more so than movies like the Avengers or like the Dark Knight series or the old Batman or the X-Men or whatever, this is literally a comic book movie. It doesn't like ignore the old medium or try to fully transform out of it, or rather, it breaks you into the Spider-Verse of the comics, and it has some very clever transitions and cutaways and stuff, and the animation style too, when it drops down to like 10 frames per second and whatever, it's very comic book like, and it's very well executed. And the coloring alone, like, of course I'm a big junkie for like, yeah, this coming from a horse fan channel. I'm a big junkie for very colorful kind of productions and stuff. And so I very much loved how energetic and colorful a lot of the scenes in Spider-Verse were. And yeah, I like Spider-Gwen the most, but I've been seeing like fan discussion of like, okay, we need a Penny Parker and Spider Noir like buddy comedy, and I'm like, that would be hilarious. This 30s-esque Spider-Man noir character with this super futuristic, part Japanese Penny Parker anime character, like that's a hell of an odd couple combo. I would love to see that movie. And then, of course, more Spider-Gwen. I want to see more Spider-Gwen doing, like, ballet stuff, too. That was a really neat, subtle concept. That's right, let it go. Let it go. Um, most MLP songs are pretty bland. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's just not there. I want like I want more of the um damn it, what's it called? What's it called? This day aria. More This Day arias, less Smile songs. I'll be honest, I know Smile song is a favorite. I know that's like, it's this gem. Smile song is cute, fine, whatever. It's not what I'm here for. I want my ballads. Want my big ballads. If you want to get like cutesy and popsy, like Super Squeezy Spider Squeezy, goddamn. So, the Super Squeezy Apple, Flim Flam Guys machine song. That's really good. And what's really sad is I don't remember any of the Weird Al song episode songs, which is really unfortunate that those aren't more memorable or shareable, that you had like this superstar artist like Weird Al and he doesn't have like really any memorable songs to his character. I know it was one episode, but still, it's like all these people, I feel like they very severely underutilize Weird Al. Same with Billy and Mandy. He was a semi-recurring character in that one squid octopus guy. And Billy and Mandy, you have the Brain song by fucking Voltaire. That's like, that's like the most famous part of the show is that song. That's like the Simpsons monorail song of Billy and Mandy. And it's like, there really should be a lot more like Weird Al songs like that. Like, I don't know, for a lot of these shows where he's a guest voice in, it's kind of sad. Don't you like the latest pop song in this emotional movie? Yeah, the entire existence of the Saya character in Pony was bullshit. I hated every scene she was in because I was like, I know this is some damn marketing executive at Hasbro being like, okay, guys, we gotta put in some kind of famous pop star to bring in the more tween girl audience. And then, there's the more sensible guy across the boardroom like, sir, don't we have this like ridiculously large contingent of like adult men with lucrative bank accounts who really fucking love our show for some reason? Why don't we like play it a little bit more like serious and less like hollow and cheap like that? No, we can't do that. We need to cram in as much marketing executive crap as our focus group tells us to. And I mean, I don't know. I'd really love to see a very broken down report on how many asses got put in seats because they made a Saya pony for the movie, because yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna guess it wasn't quite worth it. I'd say better marketing, maybe a little bit cleaned up story would have been much more profitable. The original opening that, of course, everyone bitched about like a month ago. At least I did on Twitter when they came out with that opening with the really nice Equestria, 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 rather than the shitty ponified version of that other pop song. Anyway. Okay, we're starting off 2019 right with the good rant. Lego Spider-Man. I'm sure they'll make that soon enough. Because they made the Lego Batman. That was actually really good. So, Spider-Ham. Yeah, I didn't quite get the Spider-Ham character. Like, I get it, but like, he didn't do it for me in totality. Animated movies got so many kid pandering stuff. Pop music and a better villain for the MLP movie would be a normal pony who's sick of the sun but doing nothing to help, is worried the main six die, no one will be able to protect Ponyville. Yeah, they needed a better like villain than the Storm King. Like, of course, wonderful Tempest Shadow Edgehorse was our capital V villain, I guess. But like, she's the one they reformed. But like, instead of the Storm King, they could have had really someone with a little bit more of an imposing threat, or like a more, I don't know, just someone a little bit better than Liam, than what's his name doing like his best dude bro voice. The Billy and Mandy clown episode scared the shit out of me when I was young. Yeah, that's because clowns are scary. I can't, like, in such a twisted world 100 years ago where they found clowns, like, genuinely enjoyable. Like, I don't know. Clowns, it's like, does anyone, like, really find them unironically, like, you know? I don't know. Clowns are a weird thing. You gotta play them just right. It seems so much more natural to put them into horrifying situations because of how, you know, unwholesome, how creepy just their personas are. Villain that has a good reason and wins the moral argument. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. They could have the stop trying to impose your friendship, you know, bullshit on us. I don't know. You could make a cultural imperialism argument if you wanted to get really fucking deep with colorful horses. Member of the mirthful messiahs and clowns being our religion. I find this very disgraceful. The mirthful messiahs. That's fantastic. Your boardroom joke, but with Tempest and Storm King, and the main CEO got tired and agreed to keep Tempest and make her a henchman. Tempest is so wonderful. Like, see, the problem with Tempest is we need more of her, obviously. Because it's like, Equestria Girls was good. The first Equestria Girls movie was good. And maybe it was a little bit fast of a transformation for Sunset Shimmy Wimmy. But then we had all of Rainbow Rocks to, like, be the full reformation of our fantastic Fireface horse. And it's like, oh, it's so wonderful. It's very close to being peak horse production was Rainbow Rocks in just how well executed her redemption is. I mean, obviously, you know, the Starlight Glimmer was just created to be to ape off of that kind of slow redemption. And it's just, it's all right. I do like Glimmy, but Sunset Shimmer got there first, and she's got her own series. She doesn't need to cannibalize, you know, Twilight Sparkles. Yeah, I know, Princess Sunbutt, how about you fucking do something for once? No kidding. Now, Celestia's gonna sit there and ride her banana in her bedroom while Twilight's doing all the hard work. And Luna's, like, sleeping or dead somewhere, probably. Yeah, that's right, R.I.P. Storm King. Pour one out for my boy. And that was another thing, like, why bring in, what's that guy's name? Why bring him in as Storm King? That's like, what a ridiculously stupid waste of money. Who went to the movie because what's his name was the Storm King? Like, fucking no one. Like, Emily Blunt as Tempest, I can kind of see that. You know, she is a semi-famous person with singing abilities, and she's married to Jim, which is pretty great, and whatever. And she did a great job as Tempest, as Edgehorse Bay. But no one went to the damn movie because Liam what's-his-name was the Storm King. Like, I can't even remember his last name. He was like Sabretooth in, like, the first X-Men movie, right? That's like not his most famous thing, but that's the thing I remember most for. And then he was Sabretooth again in the bad Wolverine movie. Oh my gosh. They really need deep background ones and are not good reasons to do what they do. Yeah, I very strongly feel like the whole Pony of Shadows concept was meant to be, okay, let's do Sombra, but like right. Like, giving Sombra more depth, or giving the concept of the shadow, darkness, whatever, more depth and more, like, kind of cause. It's like, Sombra was, like, literally fucking nothing. It's like, there's so much potential backstory there, as I've laid out in my fantastic symphonic metal opera, Fall of an Empire. So much potential backstory there of, like, hey, hey Twilight, can you imagine like calling her up on the horse phone, like you got to go up to like Spike's dick and be like, hey Twilight, so we got like a deal. Can you come to Canterlot today? And Twilight's like, oh my god, I don't have tickets or anything. And she's like, just don't worry about it. Just go to a train and tell them Celestial will burn your house down if you don't let me on. And then they go to Canterlot, and she's like, hey, what's up? So we kind of got like the situation in the north. And Twilight's like, oh, you mean the cold tundra and whatnot? And she's like, yeah. So there's this empire. And Twilight's like, what? Yeah, we called it an empire at the time. They were kind of in the middle of like expansion and stuff. We won't go into any details. Anyway, it was this whole empire, and there's this really, really fancy as fuck, like crystal like castle and palace, and like all the homes are made of like these really big ass geodes and stuff. Really swanky. Kind of disappeared like 1,000 years ago. Twilight's like, what? What do you mean disappeared? Where did it go? And Celestia's like, it's not important. It was an Elements of Harmony thing. Luna was still around. It was great. We took care of it. But it's back now. What? And yeah, and then of course they just send her over there, and they spend a whole episode just like, okay, what the fuck is this place that just popped in out of nowhere? That Celestia's like, yeah, so this place has just reappeared, and everyone's like fucking high on Xanax and like completely like wiped, like mind blanked and energy drained, and they're like, oh man, that was a hell of a party last night. And Twilight's like, it's the third millennium, and they're like, what? And then Sombra's just like on the edges, and it's already Shining Armor and Cadence are there, and like they won the they won the wedding gift lottery. Celestia's like, hey, you can have this place if you can keep it. And Shining's like, yeah, bro, free castle. And they get there, and immediately it's like, oh, but there's like this dark spirit that's haunting it and wants to take it back over. He may or may not feed off of the energy of the crystal ponies there. It's like, see it. So then it's like, again, they find a few other really creepy dark magic items from Sombra, like, hey, check out this creepy door. It's like a mirror, and it shows you all of your like inner darkness and fears and whatnot. And then you ride the infinite staircase of happiness all the way to the top. And it's just like, so much of the episode is just like, oh, by the way, here's this thing that really requires like its own episode backstory. And they're like, okay. It's like, of course I needed to turn all of that into a giant symphonic metal musical, and which was great for me. But then it's like, I appreciate how much the pillars of harmony, the pillars of destiny, the pick of destiny, I appreciate how much the pick of destiny elaborated on the concept of the elements and like origin story, and they built it up with the the other 6 horses or whatnot besides Star Swirl, the bearded. But it really felt like the whole concept of Pony of Shadows was just like, okay, we're gonna do the whole shadow villain thing, but this time we're actually gonna like kind of go into a little bit more depth about it. But even still, there's a lot of stuff like, okay, we're going to the Well of Infinite Darkness, and everyone's like, what? Yeah, and hey, there are some apples that used to live there. It's pretty crazy. There's this Well of Infinite Darkness in this like really fancy, old-fashioned looking like Greek horse palace that no one goes to because nothing grows there, and it's all like evil and shit. But we grew some apples around there, so it was pretty awesome for a while. And then this really depressed like tiny unicorn horse went there, and he became this giant evil shadow monster man. And that's all we're gonna say. We're just gonna forget about it for a while. Come on. I still haven't seen the season 8 ending, which I feel really bad about because it seems like they finally gave more detail to Tartarus, which is another kind of big deal. Like, they had the throwaway joke of, oh yeah, Fluttershy, she caught Cerberus and she made nice with him and sent him back to Tartarus. It's like, You really need to explain a little bit more about, you know, the eternal prison of the damned souls and whatnot. Okay, what are we talking about? Let's go back to the chat. Back to the beginning. Twilight, I'm so proud of you. Skybolt, have you ever heard of Equestria at War? No, I haven't. What is that? Storm King should have been smarter, just like just like best video game antagonist Handsome Jack. That's right. Handsome Jack was the handsomest of video game antagonists. That's too that's too obligatory. I gotta find it now. Give me a second. You got me all distracted now. We're making references to border games. Okay, there we go. Handsome Jack and his faithful steed, Butt Stallion. Oh, I love an episode where they just refer to Rarity as Butt Stallion the whole episode. I am not a stallion. Do not refer to my posterior. I want Tempest in season 9. They added Hippogriff. Now give me Edge Waifu. I know, right? She doesn't have to be voiced by Emily Blunt. I know she's expensive. Find generic Vancouver voice actress that works cheaper and sounds close enough. That's just fine. But I just want more waifu time. I want more Edge Horse. Literally episode to wear and back again too. Yes. The season 5 finale. Just make every one of those realities, make it its own movie. Just every one of them was fantastic, and the last movie can be Fallout Equestria or whatever. But it's like, the Somber War one was freaking great. The Nightmare Moon reality was great, where Rarity's like her whatever handmaiden or whatnot. The hoof of the queen, hand of the king. Then you had like Chrysalis hanging out in the jungle. I liked that, where she's like, I like it here. It's like, what happened to Canterlot? It's gone. Okay, we're in the jungle, baby. We're gonna die. What were the other ones? They kind of flashed through the others. Like, did they have a Tyrek one? I feel like they might have had a Tyrek one. I vaguely feel like they had a Discord one too. It's been a while since I watched the season 5 finales, but those are all great. Make all of those movies. We need to know more about the villains. There's so much left unsaid. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to read the comics. I know that's a thing. I have not gotten around to it. I've read like the first 12 comics, 5 years ago or whatever. I've not caught up with all the story there. And to my understanding is that some of them are quite apocryphal. They break canon, or they're a little bit gelatinous with the canon. So I don't care. My own head story is probably better. Yeah, no, Somber didn't have any lines. He had crystals and slaves. Those are the only 2 words he says in the whole damn episode. And he worked as a villain in terms of being a shadowy force on like the edges of the Empire and whatnot, but they could have done better. This isn't fucking Never-Ending Story. We can go in a little bit more detail, more grounding than he's the Shadow Monster Man that makes the dark crystals. If you need something to wrap up the plot fast, use Elements of Harmony. That's right. Sorry, I'm tired. It's 2:30 a.m. No, that's fine. We're just hanging out. It's 12:41 here, so I'm just hanging out. When you say that they could have made a movie revolving around Celestia Luna encountered before Twilight and Discord. Yeah, I know. Yeah, really, more Celestia and Luna too. That's one reason I like the horseplay episode and things like that. It's like, it's quote-unquote humanizing for Celestia. It's just we get more information about what these characters are like. And again, that introduced a whole bunch of backstory too. It's like, wait, what? It's like, oh, it's her one-versary. It's her 1111th anniversary of like being princess or whatever. It's like, damn, that's like pretty serious cosmology we're getting into now. You know, already they had the heartwarming Eve episode where it was a time before the princesses. So it's like, okay, they're not you know, first movers per se. They haven't always been on the ground doing shit. So they have to show up at some point. And then in the Pony Shadow stories, you had the whole thing where apparently Star Swirl the Bearded knew them when they were like kids or little or something. He's like, oh, you're such a big pony now. It's like, it's a lot of context there. Need to know more, ideally. I read a fanfic that explains the Somber's backstory. In short, he was abused by his parents and locked in the basement and finds a shadow that talks to him and gives him the power to kill his family. Damn. That is pretty edgy. It is over a mod for Hovey. What is Hovey? Oh, Hearts of Iron 4. It's a mod for Hovey. Concept is darker and edgier than MLP. Is based on alternative worlds, MLP plus World War II. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we I've seen a few various fan art series where they're trying to assign each horse to a to one of the World War II battling nations. That's always fun, right? Which one's the Nazi? It's always what you gotta ask. And we all know the answer, too. We all know the answer. Tyrek is just destroying stuff boring. Yeah, I know. Tyrek was kind of underwhelming for me. Like, the only exciting part of the Season 4 finale was, like, the whole Dragon Ball Z fight, pretty much. And then there was, I mean, again, it's good that now they're starting to develop the Tree of Harmony story more. But, like, the biggest thing for the Tree of Harmony was that Season 8 episode where it's like, oh my god, she's taken on Twilight's appearance. Oh my god, it's somewhat sentient. What the fuck? Tree of Harmony is alive. It has a face and personality and distantly stares from Twilight. And that's, again, we're getting into cosmology. You gotta explain some of this. Tree of Harmony Mulpy. Just like, holy shit. It's fake. Nope. Don't do that. We're going to try to keep this as, well, wait, I guess YouTube listens to, like, your words, right? They, like, get mad when you say the fuck word and stuff. Because I know that's why, yeah, that's why, speaking of, speaking of PewDiePie, that's why he doesn't do the cursing anymore, and why, I can't believe this on YouTube now. We're at the point of we're censoring speech like it's a fucking FCC code because they'll kill ads because it's not ad friendly. Gotta be kidding me. What the absolute state of YouTube. Here we go. Tree of Harmony. Those soulless, empty Twilight eyes. Like, what the actual heck? It's like there's so many questions that need to be answered. Why is she alive? Why has she taken on Twilight's personality? This is like, it's getting weird. With Celestia and Luna there while he's telling, what? Oh, a season 9 episode I want is Star Squirrel telling the story of Celestia and Luna. That would be fun and adorable and geeky Twilight with Celestia and Luna there while he's telling it. That would be great. I would very much enjoy that. I'd like a few lines of him talking about like, oh, and she was, she did it all by herself, and it's like Celestia like blushing and being like, stop it. No, that's not. Yeah, that would be very funny, and essentially telling like the metaphorically showing their baby pictures to all of them, gathered in a group. That'd be really funny. it's such an easy thing to do, but I know they tread carefully because you don't want to just lay big chunks of backstory either until you're absolutely certain you're not going to use it somewhere else or in some other way. There's a whole continent that is OC with Grifflins and also Changelings and basically Germany. Oh god. A lot of stuff is original in it though. Yes, we need that. A young Celestian Luna episode, yes. Bring back Wuna, that's right. Just make it Wuna, straight up. Also, as Equestria, you can become Daybreaker or Nightmare Moon for different fascist paths. Well, isn't that great? You can choose. So great. Yeah. It's like you roll the dice and you get snake eyes and you end up with Italy. Aww. Benito Mussoluna. Hit Lestia. Oh my god. That's enough hearts. That's enough Hovey. Okay. The the new villain, Groger, should be interesting in season 9. Is that confirmed that they're doing Groger for season 9? I know that's another original MLP villain, right? That should be interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, why not? You know, they brought Tierek back and they made him. I mean, he was interesting enough, but it's like already they've recycled him with Shirley Templepone and just gonna vacuum the magic out of Equestria, which I get it. That's a good idea, but it feels like both plans were accomplished kind of just the weest bit haphazardly. I'm kind of getting like Pinky and the Brain vibes is all I'm saying. Yeah. Holy shit, has it only been an hour? It feels like so much longer than that. This is not going to be an 8-hour live stream, by the way. I'm still baffled by the fact that the Winter Solstice live stream ended up becoming 8 hours. I don't even remember how that happened. I think we had 2 hours of it's like me and Needle, right? It's like us talking, and then it became 2 hours of Pearl Harbor Project Horizons reading, and that was a fun chapter. I mean, that was fine, but then somehow we did another 3 hours after that. What? It was the singing thing, looking for the songs and the Christmas stuff. That's what must have stretched it out. But yeah, I'm baffled by the fact that became 8 hours. Nothing matters anyway, because of course we weren't going to get any. Well, I mean, it's not like we get money for any of these anyway. But of course, the stream got 30 copyright strikes, especially when we started playing the Pokemon theme song and stuff. It was all over. Necromancy, magic, and MLP would be cool. That would be cool. Yes, it would. Just need more necromancy. Oh, Beak Olini? Oh, that's funny. See, yeah, you can't just, you gotta have quality horse puns. I mean, you can have Stall and Glimmer. It's so easy with so many analogs now. Oh wow, there's art and everything. Fantastic. Equestrian War Wiki. I love it. So that's pretty great. Oh god, it's Vermont. Yeah, you want to come on and talk about your hangover? Yeah, speaking of your hangover, you only have Terminal Secrets finale to give us, and also a documentary, Hangover Man. Oh man. Yeah, if you do want on though, just let me know and I'll open up Discord. Open up Dickcord. I'm actually really happy with how the thumbnail came out too. That's in case you can't tell, those are the fireworks from the ending of Gonna Have Breakfast First. That's a good idea. From the ending of My Little Pony, the first movie. Just kidding. It's obviously not the first movie, but you know. I still can't believe they did that with Doug. I know this is like, 20 years later, but like I can't believe Disney had the gall to be like, this is gonna be Doug's first movie. I know it's like it's a very old meme to talk about nostalgia critic stuff, but his review of Doug's first movie was very funny, especially because of his name, but also because it's like, not only were they not the original curators of the property, it was a Nick show, and they're like, okay, Disney's bought it now, and we're going to change some stuff to make it ours, and then we're going to name it our first movie. Like, the property already wasn't particularly profitable. You didn't go like, you didn't walk around seeing a bunch of Doug stuff everywhere. It was nothing like SpongeBob or Rugrats or a number of other shows where you can market the shit out of it, like Cars. It's like, it is Doug. How could you possibly think there's going to be more than one movie? So weird. I remember seeing that as a kid, and of course, it was okay, but I was a stupid kid, and it was like, I watched Doug, and I liked it well enough, and then you watched the movie, and I liked it well enough. Damn, I fucked up the joke. I like how you deleted it. Yeah, of course Vermont feels like dying. Yeah. No, I'm excited. 2019 is going to be so awesome. We're going to get season 9. We're going to get Terminal Secrets finale. I honestly don't know if we're going to get Wasteland Survival Guide finale because production has slowed to a unfortunate crawl, and I'm just wondering when we're gonna have more myself, because I would like to write that afterward at some point, and then ideally we will have Confessions finale as well, probably this time next year. We're gonna see. We're gonna make it right, not make it fast. Gonna make it right. This is the last 2 episodes. They have to be perfect. Part of that's the art too. I realized I already knew it, but I know I'm overloading Sancho, so I need to find like 1 or 2 other artists that can kind of do show style like Sancho, so I can distribute the load. Because for the finale, I have a few different pieces I want done, a few proper epilogue pictures that I'd like done. So yeah, if anyone knows how to. If anyone knows someone show style animation like that would like to contribute or take commissions right now, that would be great. Are all the animals in MLP sentient? No, some animals are not sentient yet, like the cows. Just kidding. The cows are proven to be sentient and from North Dakota, or Canada. And you had like the cats and dogs aren't, you've got Opal and yeah, it really is an interesting draw of the line of like, I kind of take MLP where it's like essentially like the large herd animals are sentient and then the other ones like aren't. Basically, like, it's just like in our world how we draw the line of moral agency for essentially just people. It's essentially just Homo sapiens sapiens, which is cool and stuff. But yeah, in MLP, it's a much wider trough. It's a much wider trough. Of different species that actually have measurable sentience to them. So you got your pones, and you got your griffones, and your centaurs, and your minotaurs, and your crystal pones, and your flying pones, and your horny pones, and your crystal pones, and your hippogriffs, and your griffones, and your bug pones, and your dragon pones, and your normal dragons, and your Kieran beer pones, and cows, because cows talked, even though they're kind of like slaves or whatever, they did talk. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we've seen talking sheep or whatever, But yeah, yaks, of course. Vermont's favorite, the yaks. I'm trying to think what other. It's basically all big herd animals. So, and the mythical shit. Cerberus wasn't though. Cerberus was just dog. Yeah. Also, Stapletech's last video, someone said he worked on Stapletech and a lot of shady shit went down, but all Stapletech responded was lies and slander. I don't know. I'm sure something like that will be covered in the documentary. I know. I only watched that last closing video the one that like Knightley and friends made. It was is interesting. I don't know. Like obviously, I wasn't too deep into the visual art side of things, especially not at the later half of anything. So I don't know too much about like whatever they say, whatever those interviews really talk about, like in depth about what happened back there. But like, I don't know. I only know the controversies that involve me. So that's all I talk about in the documentary. So, it has to be interesting for meat eaters. Yeah. That's why I like to play with a little bit in the Fallout Equestria stuff where it's like, you know, like some of these creatures did eat meat, and even in Fallout Equestria, they eat meat because they need to, and actually prompted me to Google it. And there, especially when I was writing the Cannibalism Wasteland Survival Guide, there are instances of horses in the wild just like eating meat, just like not randomly per se, but it's like it can happen. It is possible. It is not outside of the realm of possibility that horses will eat meat. You know, obviously, it's not the same as like humans and primates where we're somewhat evolutionary specialized to eat meat as well as horses, like you know, incisors and shit. And like for people that don't realize, like monkeys are really violent creatures, and apes and stuff. Like chimpanzees will like eat your nuts off first and then your face and then work on the rest of you eventually. And you can only assume that people are the same way up until and also including today. So yeah. Omnivores are scary. Damn nature, you scary. Just a week or two ago, I clicked, and now I'm writing dialogue and interactions with plot. Yeah, no, there's no wrong way to start writing. You just literally start writing. I can actually discuss sort of my evolution of writing. Like, okay, so high school and stuff, I always, I was all right. I was always okay at English. I was never bad at English or anything like that. Obviously, I specialized more slightly in like the sciences and maths just because, you know, I ended up doing engineering. So obviously I had to be somewhat okay at math and stuff. I have the potential to do math and stuff, but interest wise, it was only enough to, you know, get the degree and do work and what's fun. But it's like writing, really, that was like a whole other side of me that I really only started like opening up in high school. I started getting into drama and pushing more into singing in choir, and then eventually into writing. And it wasn't really until like, you know, the horse stuff that then all of that started to synthesize down and really get the writing going, and, you know, do the singing. You know, singing was part of the writing because I was writing, you know, lyrics, making it up and stuff like that. But really, it's like, do it if it's fun, and then just do it, period. And eventually it gets better. Like, just by practice, essentially. You just see what works and what doesn't, what you like and what doesn't, what other people like and what they don't. And, yeah, ultimately just do it if it's fun. Obviously for jobs, it's a little bit harder. Like if you're trying to get like a career in it, then you have to be more mindful of like market forces. That's something else where then you have to like really pay attention to not just what you like, but what other people like as well. Ryan Johnson. So that's something you would have to be more mindful of. But if you're just doing something like me, where it's just like, you know, it's just an expression of yourself and you just do it for fun on the internet, and hey, if you make a few bucks from it to pay off your essentially your hobby expenses, that's great. You know, that's a lot of fun. I assume griffins eat meat, so what meat do they eat, or do they just eat animals in general? Yeah, what meat do griffins eat? I assume griffins eat their dead, for one thing. The quote-unquote sky burials. I just assume that griffins have so little concern for each other, both in life and afterlife, that they're just like, oh, look, Kevin just died. Looks like we got 20 pounds of, fresh white meat and some dark meat for dinner tomorrow. just pick Kevin clean, throw his bones in the currently open mass grave, and that's just that. Especially as poor Gallus goes on about like how much he fucking hates Griffin society, and he's like, it's so lonely and cold that he tries to sabotage hearthwarming for the others just so he could have like friends and a nice time. That's like, and kind of the same with Spike, where they're like, they love the warmth of pony society so much rather than their cold, heartless, other societies. The society that they live in. Oh yeah, there's donkeys and mules. Mules are necessarily, oh yeah, sea serpents. That's right. How can we forget Stephen Magnet? Oh yeah, whatever the heck the Storm King was. He wasn't a talking cat. I don't know what the Storm King and friends fall under in terms of their race or whatnot, their species, but yeah, it's something mythical, probably. It's more than just like cat or whatever. Horses will commit cannibalism in extreme cases, especially stallions fighting over mates. Oof. Now that is an episode of My Little Pony that would be worth watching. Soren and Thunder, what's his name? Thunder, is like the dark gray guy. Thunderwing? What is his name? He's like been a common background horse for a while. Thunderlane, that's it. Soren and Thunderlane finally decide they really, really want to try to win Rainbow Dash's affection, and so they beat the hell out of each other, and Thunderlane wins, and he eats Soren, and then Rainbow Dash is eternally creeped out and runs away from both of them. Question, what do you think of a protagonist with a prosthetic leg? Not a cyber pony, just curious. I mean, considering that's how Ridgeback ended up at the end of The Mercenary, I think it's totally doable. What I tried to explain, it was kind of a fast segment, but what I tried to have Diamondback explain was that obviously, she married or dating or whatever a medical horse, Sutures, who had to maintain his own wheelchair, so he had some semblance of prosthetic, ambulatory mechanisms, and so the idea was that he essentially built her the I mean, not automail per se, not the idea that it's like fully motive, but let's go with something like well, I guess it's something like Furiosa from Mad Max, where essentially it's like it's kind of there. It's like semi-mechanical, but it's not like a fully motive, like robotic hoof or whatever. Like maybe it's like muscle or twitch activated with like some pneumatics. That's there's some things like that today where people with prosthetics can like flex certain muscles and those will flex the prosthetic one way or another. So it's like all she has to have is just enough flex where she can like run and gallop. And that's what I'm, sort of, magic. He's big rainbow magic. That's all it can do. It's not a full like Robo Pony like Blackjack or anything like that. It's just enough that she can, she can work that shoulder muscle and get it to gallop. And that's that. Peg leg. Yeah, that's right. Or just go straight to peg leg. That's right. Happy New Year's, Satharian. A hidden blade or maybe some revolver ammo. That's always fun. Like Rainbow Dash with the wing. Yeah, there you go. Like Rainbow Dash with the wing. Depending on how you headcanon that, it could just be some kind of, magic mechanical prosthesis, which is kind of, you know, as I've described a few times in the past, that's essentially the Skybolt backstory. The character is cybernetically. Or you could have your idea that she still has enough bone in there that maybe her muscles got really fucked up, but there's enough bone underneath the metal where it's like it's essentially just like an extension case, and you know, that's enough for her to fly, but there's enough in there to keep it going. Sort of like there's something like that where it's I think it's called osteograph, where it's like a prosthetic, but they like drill it into your bone, like it becomes like sort of a part of you, more so than just like a sling that you put on like a boot or a shoe or something. Griffins eat sea ponies and porgs. Griffins can eat all the fucking porgs they want. Yeah, griffins would probably realistically eat like fish and small animals like rats. Yeah, you know, like a normal eagle kind of thing. Although eagles have been known to eat some larger creatures, so you never know. And also, the other part of griffin is lions, so they can eat some pretty damn big creatures too. Maybe griffins eat zebras. That's why all the zebras are gone. Maybe yaks eat zebras too. That's Vermont's eternal pain. Is the griffins and yaks ate all the zebras in the show. Rip in peace. The only existing sea serpent is homosexual and fun with finding more. I am joking. I mean, I assume that just all sea serpents are fabulous. There is slavery in MLP, I think. Yes, of course. That's all the cows are slave to the Apple family. That's canon. Yes, this is Crystal Empire with Sombras. Spike is a slave. That's right. Spike is also a slave. And with the Stormkin, dang it. There. Stormkin is Catman. He's the Catman! Yeah. Sell the main 6-2 with the rat. It is a mother-son / sibling relationship. Yeah, they keep it intentionally vague enough, but it's like that episode with Spike and his the father dragon guy who wasn't his father, and then that one scene of her heart breaking that was just so heartbreaking. I felt legitimately bad for Twilight in that. Where's that picture? It's time to feel. There we go. Look at how fucking sad that is. There we go. Okay. Mother, son, or sibling thing. Spike has been daughtered. What does that mean? Daughtered. Is that a verb? Can you daughtered someone? What does that mean? I'm not going to Google that. Something tells me. I don't know. You didn't get a real bad until the castle. That's right. Maybe that's the final villain. The final villain is the Tree of Harmony because it was created by Stygian, who was always this evil little fuck. Mother, daughter, father, son, mother, son. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's probably some incest involved. He's more like a pet for Twilight. That's right. Yeah, Twilight's relationship with Spike is exactly the same as Fluttershy's with Discord. They're fucking pets. Would the Griffins eat cats and dogs? Yes. That's why there's so few cats and dogs running around. The Griffins ate most of them. The Winona and Opal are endangered species. Spike was Celestia's property given to Twilight. Regardless of how Twi treats Spike, he does fit the definition of a slave. I assume that all ponies are technically slaves of Celestia and Luna. That's just how that works. Well, Celestia, because Luna is Celestia's slave too, if you really think about it. Has she been drinking? It's for in the Orning. Yes. I originally said mother-daughter. Well, you know, it's Spike's got to get through, you know, he's not quite through dragon puberty yet. He's still has an innie, so to speak. The final villain is Angel. That's right, Doom Bunny. So I guess the Griffins are Chinese. Oh my god. I mean, technically, aren't the zebras Chinese, right? In terms of Fallout Equestria lore, that's sort of the analog. Is they're the main opposing kingdom during the Great War, so zebras are Chinese, and they're also Caesar's Legion because Kaiser, and then they're also like you know, kind of African. So yeah, the zebras are. The zebras are Chinese, African, yeah. They're, yeah. Sunbutt is running a dictatorship, that's right. The Diamond Dogs are dead. Yeah, I mean, well, they became the Hellhounds, right? I'll be honest, I haven't added Hellhounds much to the Confession stories because, I kind of forgot most of the lore that laid out about them, and I don't want to mess with that. So I'm much more comfortable adding in like hippogriffs and stuff since they're all fairly new, and you can do a lot more with them when they're, you know, less treaded than all the other Fallout Equestria side stories that have been created. That's right. No sleep till Brooklyn. No sleep until the stream is over. Yeah, you're on this ride forever. The damn fluffy bunny. Ave true Kaiser. Yes. Yeah, Kaiser. Yeah, it's Latin's a funny language, isn't it? I thought that was actually one of the nice subtle things about New Vegas too, where it's like all the NCR soldiers and stuff, they're like, you know, Caesar this, Caesar that. And then all the, like, LARPers are like, Ave, true to Kaiser. Because, of course, he had freaking Kaiser going on about, like, you gotta say it right. You gotta say it like real Latin, Kaiser. Veni, vidi, vici. It's gotta be the hard C's, you guys. Which is kind of true. That's my understanding as well about Latin. I didn't learn Latin going to school, which I find unfortunate. I wish they taught Latin and Greek, you know, history more in schools, but, you know, kids don't even know the current year, so why would they know Latin or Greek or anything? That's right. Everything belongs to Molestia. Yeah, that's right. Once a year, you have your, Now that's a hell of a fanfic, isn't it? Is you have unironic Molestia on the throne, and you gotta go through the, prima nocta every time there's a wedding. Every single wedding. Doesn't matter who's involved, but one party's gotta prima their nocta. New Vegas is the best Fallout game. Yes, it is, most likely. Yeah, does anyone ever finish on the Caesars? Like, I've never once done a Caesar playthrough, so I really don't know what his missions are like. Like, do you, like, sacrifice someone to them? Like, do you bring, like, one of your companions to Caesar to die at some point? Like, what are the Caesar quests exactly? I've never played a Caesar's Legion playthrough. I almost feel like I should at some point, but it's like, he's such an asshole, you know? Why would you want to do a Caesar's Legion? You know, the annoying NCR, you know, hyper bureaucracy is still more attractive than that. I've played, what were my games? I think I've done 5 full playthroughs. I've done NCR for 2 of them. No, I've done more than 5 playthroughs. I know I've done at least 2 NCR. I've done at least 2 U's with Yes Man. I've done 2 with Mr. House. And most of these, at least the U playthroughs, I'm nice to, well, obviously, the U playthroughs, I'm nice to Brotherhood of Steel. I don't destroy Brotherhood of Steel unless, you know, Mr. House or NCR want me to, which, you know. I kind of feel bad because it's like they're already like nothing. They're already like reduced to nothing in the Mojave. So I'm like, you know, can we just like live and let live. Like, come on, guys. They're already pretty, like, absolutely pwned into the dirt. Are there any Brotherhood left besides that one pony? No, it's literally just Steel Hooves. Actually, that is a good question, right? Because there's the whole subplot about Strawberry Lemonade and that whole Crusader mainframe, right? I forget how that unfolds. What was? Well, no. Yeah, there's enough of them left because then Apple Snack creates the what is it? The Apple Snacks Outcasts or whatever. The Steel Ranger Outcasts where they all have the red painted armor, right? God damn, it's been 6 years since I listened to Fallout Equestria. Oh my god. 6 years. I can't listen to that audiobook again. I need to finish my own damn audiobook. It's getting on 5 years of that. That's right, independent all the way. Yes Man is bae. Yeah, how can you not love Yes Man? Although I did feel kind of okay with Mr. New Vegas as well. Mr. New Vegas, god damn it. With Mr. House as well, cuz I got to admit he kind of was swaying me over with some of his, like, you know, super technocracy. It's a little bit alluring to see what Mr. House could really do if he had all of Vegas under his control and then just, you know, ran good old hypercapitalism for a while and got rich. And his whole speech about in 50 years I'll have all of Vegas under my control. In 100 years I'll have man walking on the moon again and stuff. It's a little bit attractive, I gotta say. If you go NCR, you can also spare the bows. Brotherhood of Steel, but you lose some NCR rep. That's right. Yeah, I believe both of my NCR playthroughs I also spared them because they're just kind of like, it's just really sad. I mean, you know, basically every playthrough, like, I do replace you know, what's his name with the other guy for Elder, but it's like they're still just really, like, pathetic. It's like, you know, it's like shooting a chained puppy. You can't just do that. Many a true nerd did all the Legion missions on his channel. Oxhorn is working on it, but most people find it distasteful. I mean, yeah, obviously. Like, you know, Kaisar is such a nut. I feel like there's some version where you essentially become the new Kaisar, right? Because it's like, as soon as you meet him, you're like, oh fuck, this guy's got a tumor in his head the size of a golf ball. It really seems like you can become Kaisar in New Vegas, but here we are 7 years on, and I actually have no idea for sure because I've never played through it. Because obviously, you know, you're not going to run the Slavers horde that's most likely going to completely fall apart when Kaisar dies, because obviously. Actually, doesn't it go where if you do kill him on the table that Legate Linnaeus takes over as the new Kaisar? I vaguely feel like I remember reading that somewhere. You know, the monster of the East, you know, Mr. Wolfie Mask, Mr. Lion Mask. I feel like it would be very entertaining to watch Oxhorn go through the Caesar, like, Legion missions, because he can't be shitposty about it. He couldn't be like us where we could be a little bit more like, you know, be a little more silly with it. Oxford would be very, very verbally uncomfortable with every bit of Caesar's Legion dialogue, so that would actually be very entertaining. I remember the Outcast is good and the OG Rangers are bad. No, kind of no. Oh, and Fallout. Yeah, that's kind of my understanding too. It's like Strawberry Lemonade herself was nice, if I remember, but it was the elder of that one whatever regiment of SEAL Rangers where what's his name then turns himself into the Crusader mainframe, and then they have to unplug him or you know, Control C, Control V, or Control Delete. And then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna make my own. I'm gonna make my own Steel Rangers with blackjack and hookers. And then he dies. But, you know, the Outcast Apple Snacks The one true Apple Rangers. They're a thing. Yeah, I know. That is the hole in the Fallout 3. The Outcast Rangers, they shouldn't have named themselves Outcasts, or their faction shouldn't be called Outcasts. They should be like the Foundational Brotherhood, or the I don't know, the Fundamentalist Brotherhood or something like that, because yeah, they are much closer to the original Brotherhood of Steel, which really aren't a good guy faction. They're a bunch of like they're a bunch of technology hoarding, like, kind of crazy guys. They were sort of the villain in the first game in some ways. Even in the second game, when you had the Enclave as the villain, the Steel Rangers weren't really the good guys either. So the whole concept of them in 3, Elder what's his name Lyons, he's like, yeah, he's the reformist. That really would be more proper of them being the Reformed Brotherhood, and then the Outcasts, quote unquote, would be the real Brotherhood. But it's a little bit complicated. NCR Pony equivalent is the NCA from FOE Heroes. I never read Heroes, but wasn't the whole thing the end of Fallout Equestria was the new Canterlot Republic? Ha ha ha. Which is really funny because it's like, yeah, you gotta make a new Canterlot because the old one come fucking blown off the side of the mountain. Which is sad, but it's like, at the same time, you can't just call a place New Canterlot. It's like, where are you gonna build it? In the Everfree? Like, isn't the Everfree original temple, the castle, like, blown to fuck also? You can't just call something New Canterlot. And also, I believe it's Vermont that is very avid with the point that the New Canterlot Republic could not, like, function as a society because the Griffins are assholes and they can't run a good society. Yeah, I also enjoy the Oxhorn lore videos. I'm not sure about certain allegations. So yeah. Yeah, the lore is always great. I did discover another guy, he's got like an Apple name to his channel too. What is it? Something Apple lore Fallout videos. What's that guy's name? The Nth Apple, which is really weird because I had like a math flashback when I first read his username. I'm like, oh no, we're doing nth place like calculus now? What the fuck? But he's got like this interesting, like, swarthy British voice, which is fine, obviously British voices are good for narration and stuff, but I do like Oxhorn's videos. I'm not sure about allegations. Especially the Dead Money series is really, really good, because obviously the Dead Money story is really good. So any way you can consume the entire Dead Money story all at once is a great thing. And then what else? And the Curie is always great too. Obviously Curie is great. So yeah, Legate Linnaeus is way worse than Caesar, because I think the backstory for him is he was like already this savage, like, tribalist when Caesar's, the Legion, because the Legion is just a whole bunch of tribes that he just like stirs the pot together, and they're all, very thinly functioning under him just because he's got this epic cult of personality. But it's like, then Legate Linnaeus is just this complete, total, bloodthirsty psychopath super killer that he just unleashes on places to make them submit to him. The Banapple? Banapple. Yeah, the apple. I know what you mean with the new of anything of Town City. Unless the original is blown up, you really can't do that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. How funny is it that New Zealand is way more, like, known about than Old Zealand? Isn't that weird? It's kind of weird. Old Zealand gets no love. Maybe they should just call New Zealand Zealand, and Old Zealand can become Old Zealand. That would be fun. Uh, New Caledonia Alliance in Heroes. Did they call it Caledonia? New isn't Caledonia like that's like a French thing, right? I'm pretty sure that's a French thing. Yeah, that's like islands. Oh, I didn't know they were that close to Australia. I thought they were further out. I'm thinking of what am I thinking of? Am I thinking of French Polynesia? Anyway, that is kind of a French thing. Um, New Caledonia Alliance in Heroes. A sovereign state called Caledonia. After the war, the state became the New Caledonia Alliance. Yeah, I know. Heroes is another super famous one that I should get around to reading at some point and or listening to, but probably won't listen to it, or I'll listen to it from someone else's because yeah, didn't exactly end Stable Tech on the best terms with what's his name, Popcorn and Memes Ready. Oh my god. Heroes is basically New Vegas of the Fallout Equestria universe. Yeah, that's what I've heard, right? Is that it's like New Pegasus or whatever is one of the main setting locations. That was another thing I had to be very careful about when writing Confessions, because I am aware that Heroes covered a very detailed sort of New Vegas lore interpretation. Even to the extent that K-Cat didn't integrate them himself, whatever. So it's like with Sierra Madre, with the Naranja Villa, I had to be as original as I could about like the real world analogs to certain locations. And that's a similar problem I'm having in the writing of Confessions Wasteland Pony 8, The Bounty Hunter. So I think people will enjoy it though. I think I go into it pretty well. I thought that was Project Horizons. I have no idea, to be honest. Yeah, you can't trust Oxhorn in terms of how good a game is. Obviously, he shilled really, really hard for Fallout 76, which I'll admit I kind of was prey to his positive endorsement. But at the same time, he was one of those, those approved influencers that got to go to the Greenbrier event and got the fancy canvas bag, and obviously he was. See, I'm waiting for more 76 lore videos from him too, because at the same time, I'm curious, like, is there good lore within Fallout 76? Is it going to be like the Grimoire cards of Destiny, where it's like some good writing was there, but it got, violently ripped out of the game, like someone, feathering a chicken or something? I remember I watched a few videos where he was talking about, the Maiden of Mystery, I think, storyline where you can become a Maiden of Mystery as well, and she like saved a bunch of like girls in the immediate aftermath of the war, and they were like essentially like a home for girls, and her husband was like an inventor guy, and he made it kind of real that they could be the Maidens of Mystery, and that was kind of neat. That was some touching lore in there, but yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. That's the only thing that would maybe draw my interest for Fallout 76. Like, I appreciate how many monsters from, like, West Virginia, like, folklore they've included in the game, but at the same time, it's like the approaching to them and them in the game and stuff. It's just like, obviously I didn't play it long enough to find any of them, but at the same time, it's like the game wasn't interesting enough to hold me long enough to find any of them. So anyway, there's a place called Dice, shorthanded for Celestia's Paradise. I think we all know what Celestia's Paradise is. Also, Nilsors and Apple. Oh God. Um, what is more, New Vegas Horizons or Heroes? Are they both Fallout New Vegas or Fallout Equestria? Yeah, I'm. Project Horizons is more New Vegas E. I mean, Project Horizons, it seems more New Vegas-y in the sense that someone aside from the prime author of KCAT wrote a story that is considered almost as good or better. So I'd consider it very New Vegas-y in that context, but in terms of the actual story locations, is it more New Vegas-y? That I'm not sure of. I'm adding new locations of the story. Somewhere near the Dragonlands involves 1 or 2, maybe 3 main characters. That's always fun. Well, you know what's really funny is that was a hangover from the Stable-Tech days of me just kind of like pussyfooting around whether or not an actual show character is in it. Like in the Ghoul Doctor, there's the the brown colored mare with the short red mane and the green eyes, where it's like very heavily implied that it's Babseed, but not directly. And it kind of carried through even to this day with like with Princess Ember, with with fucking with Diamondback. You know, it's like you basically know it's Ember, but at the same time, it's like I guess I didn't want to make it absolutely canon certain, just in case there was like I don't know. Maybe it's just pussyfooting around, but it's like I didn't want to make it 100% spell out her name and whatnot. Maybe that's just cheating. Yeah, 76 really does kind of seem like a cash grab more than anything. I'm basically making new settlements to add more to the world. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is KCAT, all she had to do was infuse the concepts together in a good enough way, and then there's enough lore on both sides of the aisle that then, you know, it was a free-for-all for the ridiculous horse people like us to then grab other things and stitch them together and make our own. This is like, what, 4th derivative canon now? Oh my god. Oh yeah, it is like a New Year's podcast. Does anyone have any New Year's resolutions they want to talk about? Who's on a diet? Everyone. Got to cut down on the mescaline. CHP? What? See, I read CHP and I think California Highway Patrol, so you might have to elaborate what that is more. A supporting character, Griffin Merchant, that acts as a fast travel system. That's great. What's so bad about Pink Eyes? Yeah, I read about half of Pink Eyes. It was kind of interesting. My only complaint about Pink Eyes is that it kind of feels like Puppy Smiles like shifts in age. Like sometimes she acts like she's 4 years old, and then sometimes she acts like she's more like 8 or 10. Like I don't know. There's a bit of a slight disparity there in terms of like, you know, her amount of age, but I'd probably attribute that more to that it is tricky to write a child character, because nailing down something like that in what's a believable amount of what's the right word? Development, I guess, like linguists, like, you know, for a kid, that's tricky. I understand that it's tricky. As a fan of the Grand Plagueis' Enclave, but the thing is, she didn't decide to give me the numbers. What numbers? Oh, chapter. Oh, okay. I think of just like CH's chapter, but maybe that's just me. It was a bit cringy from the perspective of Puppy Smiles. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Is it would have been maybe a little bit cleaner to have a character with her that is like reacting to what she says. Maybe maybe the third hand character is telling the story of the Puppy Smiles, of like, you know, I ran into this little tiny pink horse, And if you cut a hole in her spacesuit, she squeezes out all this pink mist and it melts your skin off, kind of thing. I don't know. Mount Hope, West Virginia for 17 years. Oh, wow. Mothman is the only one of those creatures I have heard of. 76 is way better as a YouTube video than in person. Yeah, that's kind of my impression too. More and more every year, I've determined not to waste my time doing things I don't enjoy either, where it's like, you know, if something really isn't engaging you on certain levels, then it's okay to cut and run. Like, you know, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Like, obviously, you know, if the thing is like education or like a job thing, like, you know, you have to make an informed decision about like, is this really worth my time or energy? But at the same time, it's like every day is, you know, one day you're not getting back, and you have no idea if you're going to die tomorrow of like, you know, falling piano from the sky or something. So it's like, you don't want to waste youth either. Like there's going to be a lot of time down the road that you can worry about like some of the I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. It's New Year's, obviously, so I'm in like the New Year's, like, oh my god, you know, this is the calendar changed a number, you know, impending doom of the future. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I want to look forward to this year. I really hope it. Like, everything on paper says it should be a better year than last year, but I thought that last year also, and it's like, now I feel like I'm, like, gritting my teeth, like, waiting for, like, you know, something to explode, so to speak. Anyone read Murky Number 7? No, that's another long one that I never got around to. I actually, I've seen a bit of interesting fan art for it. I feel like that's, you know, something interesting there. Obviously, it's one of like the top 5 FOE stories, but have I gotten around to actually reading it? No. All these damn stories are too long, including mine. Especially if you treat like, you know, if you kind of like tie Confessions and Terminal Secrets and Wasteland Survival Guide together, which you know, we've tried to do. That is a long story. You got 3 hours Wasteland Survival Guide. You got like 8 hours of Terminal Secrets. And then you got 18 hours of Confessions. With another 8 to go. So, because what did I tell myself? I wanted Confessions to be at least around 24 hours. Like, you know, one solid day of story, so to speak. And then, you know, if you massage things, if you include things like the shadow story and whatever, it could get there a little bit quicker. But in terms of proper capital S, capital C canon story, I was really hoping Confessions would be 24 hours, which at this rate, it's going to make that easy. Like, my projection for episode 8, I think it'll be about Ice Mare length, but it could be a little longer. We'll see. I'm going to treat it the same way I've always treated my writing, of just write what needs to be said. Say what needs to be said, write what needs to be written. Don't try to, you know, forcibly shrink it, and don't try to forcibly expand it. Just write it as it should be. And I feel like taking that consistency in what would the proper word be? Consistency in pacing, maybe? Or style, that's what has resonated the most with people in terms of making it feel like, you know, the same kind of thing, even though the length, you know, changed so greatly over time. What about the specific numbers of the Grand Pegasus Enclave size, troops, how they were formed officially? Oh yeah, just more about the lore in general. Yeah, I mean, you know, no, we don't even have an official ending for Rainbow Dash, except that, you know, her and Gilda fucking killed each other, I guess, after going to the little shack. How did Scootaloo die again? I'm trying to remember. Like, Sweetie Belle lived out her life. She was the overmare in Stable 2, and, you know, all that good stuff. So, I like to think that Little Pip is related to both, you know, direct-ish descendant of both Sweetie Belle and Apples. I like that. That's just good. Where's I going with that? Oh, and then Apple Bloom died at the bottom of the Stable-Tech headquarters, right? Like that was the whole premise for my Sins of the Past song was Apple Bloom couldn't make it or couldn't get the door closed of the vault of the Stable Zero, and so she fucking died. Oh, the Red Racer Factory, right? That's where Scootaloo died. She's in the Red Racer Factory doing something, ODing on pills or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Puppy Smiles is a ghost person from Dead Money. Yeah, I mean, essentially that's what she is. So that was the other tricky thing when I knew I wanted to do a Sierra Madre story and I knew I wanted to have ghost peoples in some way. I was like, okay, how can I make my thing a little bit more unique or original or different? And you know, a lot of the tropes might be similar. I'm trying to be as original as I can. It's usually a lot of storytelling is like the way the story is told and the way some of the settings cast different shades of light, so to speak, on a story. You know, like Shakespeare stories. You know, Romeo and Juliet, Twelfth Night. Comedy of Errors. You know, all these stories have been told and retold several times, but the interpretations, the settings can give a unique life to each of them. Like, for instance, one of my favorite, this is a true story, one of my original, like, celebrity crushes was Amanda Bynes back in the day. I grew up, I really loved The Amanda Show and, you know, the early images of Drake and Josh and stuff. They were great bits with God, with all the Dan Schneider productions. Dan various nicknames Schneider. Dan oh, Dan loves the feet Schneider. Anyway, I really like the Amanda shows again. And she was in that like 10-year period where she wasn't crazy and she was doing interesting movies. The She's the Man movie, which was essentially is it 12th Night? I think it's 12th Night. It's essentially the story of the 12th Night, but told as a girl going to a boarding school dressed as her brother, essentially. That was I liked the movie before, that was before I knew about the 12th Night story and that it was based off of it, loosely speaking, Viola and stuff, but I liked the movie on its own, and it was very unique story, and then reading 12th Night later on in like high school or whatever, that was also good. But it's like, so even though stories can be similar and tropes can be similar and whatever, it's usually the setting and the backgrounds around the story that give it its own unique flavor. And so that's what I tried to do with Naranja Villa and the Mercenary, to make it a unique horse interpretation of Sierra Madre, and how the ghosts of Naranja Villa figure into Confessions. Their story's not over. They get a few more details about them eventually. Yeah, that's right. Now Obsidian, they're making their fuck Todd Howard and Bethesda game. Oof, that's what I'm waiting to see too, is how Outer Worlds plays out, because the impression I'm getting is it's going to be new Borderlands New Vegas, essentially, which I'm a little torn on because Borderlands never drew me in. Borderlands was a little bit too silly for me. Like, at least the Bethesda Fallout series, like, you still felt the gravity of the world, and I feel like that's one of the compromising things of Borderlands, is it is a little bit too silly. It feels almost like 90s Nintendo silly, which even the original Fallout games, obviously these are original Fallout creators, they had a weight to them. You watch that original Fallout intro and you feel that when it pulls out from the TV and the world is fucking dead, and then you get the Hellboy monologue and stuff. And it's that's what I really didn't get out of the Outer Worlds event from the Game Awards. I really want a solid, like, trailer that really talks about the story and really gives it a little bit more meaning, a little bit more seriousness, to know that it's not one big, dancing fuck you to Bethesda. For years I wanted to write an FOE story, and now I'm finally making it. Yeah, just go off and write. That's all that matters. Oh yeah, that's right. Yellowstone will go off. Well, yeah, that's really, all of this, we're just killing time until the Yellowstone super caldera completely consumes the North American continent. So, enjoy it while it lasts, As soon as the US is out of the way, then China and Russia can very quickly consume the rest of the world, and we can go from there. And also Brazil. Oof, Brazil. Wait, what is this? My OC was born in Thunderhead, so Liberal for Enclave created a colony in southern Equestria, and basically during Enclave Civil War declared neutrality, bombed the colony, and in the Minute Ponies formed as... Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Womp womp. In Project Horizons, Dash is a ghoul in the Mare Dowell power armor? What? What's Mare Dowell power armor? Is that like Malcolm McDowell power armor? Is she is Rainbow Dash dressed as Milkman from from Clockwork Orange? No, that's interesting. I thought Pinky OD'd. Yes. Yeah, no, I don't think Scootaloo OD'd. I think she just died in the office, right? In the red in the Red Racer building offices. Yeah, Amanda Bynes was hot. I know. Yeah, seeing Amanda Bynes repressed childhood memories finally consume her was really sad, actually. I really she's like my first crush, the little 8-year-old self. You see 13-year-old Amanda Bynes and you're like, that seems like a nice lady. And then, 13-year-old Amanda Bynes becomes 18-year-old Amanda Bynes and you're like, that's a really nice lady. And then she goes crazy. So that's really sad. Borderlands is fun though. Yeah, I've heard good things about Borderlands. It's just the marketing, the tone never drew me in. It was a little bit I grew up, I enjoyed the Ratchet and Clank games. I get a feeling that it's very similar to the Ratchet and Clank games, maybe more serious than that, but it's it still wasn't quite enough. It wasn't quite enough to draw me in. Outer Worlds is more rail-tracked. Really? I didn't hear that in the discussion. It's not really open exploration. It's more so to speak, Outer Worlds is more BioShock 2 than BioShock 1? That would be interesting if so. BioShock 2 wasn't a bad game, but it is kind of unfortunate that it's the least remembered because of, obviously the original is a modern classic, and then BioShock Infinity was this kind of strange thing because of its, art style and story and kind of trippy setting. Cynical humor. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Fallout is damn it, what's his name? RoboCop director and Starship Troopers director, that guy, Paul Verhoeven. Fallout feels like the Paul Verhoeven movie, and Borderlands feels almost more Mad Max. Well, no, that's not the right comparison either. Mad Max can be kind of serious. God, okay, obviously these are all just comparisons. I'm just saying it feels a little bit too silly where it's why would I care? Kind of thing, where Fallout, it's the stakes are everything in the known world that we care about. Whereas Borderlands or Outer Worlds, it's literally outer worlds that we don't know about, and a lot of the commentary on the corporate rule of the colonies, that is interesting, but they really need some solid openings and setup to make me care about these outer worlds before I can invest. That's all I'm saying. Start rolling out some Vidocs or something. Get me invested in the outer worlds to care to save them. From what I've seen of actual gameplay and scripts they've released of Outer Worlds is not as much Fallout as they're making out to be. Still going to be better than 76 though. Well, yeah, obviously. I'm pretty sure most games this year were better than 76. Yeah, that's what I like about the Fallout series too, is the darker, grimdark stuff. Like, I was just like, in between points of writing and also in points where I was trying to get new inspiration, playing the game and stuff. Some of my favorite stuff about the Fallout series are like kind of the mysterious things, like the Dunwich horror stuff, Dunwich building, the Krivbeknia, I really love the Cabot House story stuff with the old man Cabot getting the mysterious artifact in Arabia, and I love that whole concept. I'd love to see a whole game based on that premise, and go to the city, lost city in the sand, and all that stuff. That's neat. Yeah, that's right. Minerva's Den was part of BioShock 2 as well, and that got very little attention, even though it was interesting. Yeah, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel is better than 76. Oof. That is a hard oof. Problem with Outer Worlds is that many people have made Fallout New Vegas left Obsidian, actually. I feel Metro 2033 is more of a Mad Max themed apocalypse game. Yes, Metro 2033 feels, or my interpretation of it based on what I've seen online, that seems very Mad Max in tone. Obsidian need to be careful. I get the hilarity of the marketing of immediately saying, original Fallout creators and then creators of New Vegas. Like, I get it, but now they've set a tone where, especially with New Vegas and the original Fallout games, like they're sort of setting a tone that this new game is something that you should expect to enjoy if you enjoyed those other two games, which is, it's a gamble. Obsidian doesn't have as many, like black marks on its record as Bethesda does. They've done a lot of things much more right than Bethesda. There's a lot less, like, the mountain pile of hate is much smaller for Obsidian than Bethesda. But they need to tread carefully. Hopefully the game really does deliver an experience that is appreciative to people of those Fallout games, because, like, I get it too. It feels like this is the IP they created because they knew they were going to be locked out from Fallout for forever. Especially after the bullshit of New Vegas, like, they didn't get the bonus because it didn't get an 85 Metacritic score. Like, that's bullshit. I would want to be done with the series too, even though it was a series you helped create, which is really fucking sad. So I'm just like, I'm sure it'll be original enough. I'm sure it's going to feel different, but I'm saying, like, let's do the Take-Two comparison. If you're picking up Psychonauts and expecting, wait, am I making this right comparison? Never mind. I don't know enough about. What I'm trying to say is, like, just because it's from the same creators, you shouldn't expect exactly the same thing. And although I don't think anyone is, in the back of your mind, the lizard brain is expecting the Fallout New Vegas experience. And because they're operating on a completely new IP, they need to have a very seriously good built story, a very solid opening to get people plugged into that, where they really enjoy it in the same way. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen for me, because I'm kind of like not a gamer anymore. I kind of just like play Fallout to relax and veg, kind of, by myself. it's not really like I play, you know, a new game every 3 months just to play completely through it, and that's like a pastime per se. Like my pastime is kind of fucking around and then kind of, you know, making horse radio plays. So yeah, I don't know. That's one I'm kind of sad about, is I don't think I'll be that engaged with that either, even though it does look interesting. So Sky should stream Metro Redux, which is 2033 plus Last Light. You did stream 76 times to stream some good games. Yeah, that's right. We owe it to the audience to stream good games next time. 24-hour stream, baby. That's right. We still got to get around to a 24-hour stream at some point. Okay, how about we go another 15 minutes? We'll wrap it up at 2.5 hours in stream time. I think that's a good digestible length. Obviously from the branding, is there any more season 9 discussion anyone wanted to talk about? Anything you're hoping for season 9, or I don't know, New Year's resolutions? Does any, since we're very close, I think, you know, a month at the most, does anyone have any theories on how they think Terminal Secrets is going to end? What you think episode 6 is going to be about? It's interesting. It's going to be interesting. So yeah. Don't spoil season 8. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. That's great. I'm trying to remember. I don't even know if I finished the second episode. Yeah, you did. That was the school one where Twilight Sparkle starts a race war. Yeah, no, I've seen most of season 8, but there's still some spots that I missed. Same with really all of Horse ever since like season 5. I'll be honest, season 4 really didn't engage me much. I started like unplugging a bit from season 4. Like a lot of those episodes I don't remember at all. And then that was during my move too, so I invested a lot more into my own fandom creations and a lot less in actually paying attention to every single episode of the show. So yeah, I haven't seen the season 8 finale either or anything like that. I hope the computer murders everyone. We'll see. I've yet to see any episodes of season 8 myself. Yeah, I mean, why watch season 8 episodes when you can watch the DWK season 8, you know, totally awesome recaps? You don't need to watch the show when you have the totally legit recaps, man. Yeah, I wanted more of the Student 6 too. We need more Silverstream. She's so adorable. And just like, she's just like this perfect beacon of like she's like essentially the Pinkie Pie character but perfected. She's happy and bubbly and interesting, but not annoying crack addict. Oh, just everything about her is so wonderful and perfect. Just look at that. Look at the adorable little claws, and she still has the hoofs, and she's got the little tufts of fluffs on her four legs and 4 arms, and she's got the little like ocean bra necklace and the little beak and her big poofy hair, but it's also kind of radical, and it's got the 2 color tones. Oh my god, it's like, it is so perfect. Everything about her is perfect. She's got the adorable voice and this ever lovely sweetness. Like, that's what immediately engaged me in season 8, was just seeing Silverstream in that first episode. I was completely sold. Just completely, yes. More please. So we need more Silverstream, please. Also, I have grown to like the others too. Silverstream, of course, is at the top. And then second, I would put it'd be like a tie of either Ocellus or Smolder. I really like Smolder. I realize that she's essentially just half Scootaloo and half Princess Ember. But I like Princess Ember, and I want to see more Princess Ember. And I like a Scootaloo version of a baby or teenage, you know, a tween a young teen version of Princess Ember, but Scootaloo. That is very enjoyable. I would like to see more of that too. Ocellus is fun too. I like her because she's also like Fluttershy, but without the baggage. She's like, you know, the soft-hearted, kind of bookish. She kind of has Twilight's bookishness, but she's not shy in like an annoying way. It feels like I'm shitting on Andrea Libman. I'm not trying to shit on Andrea Libman. It's just that her two characters in particular have very serious flaws that I find very grating to me. To be fair, so does Rainbow Dash. So there you go. I enjoy Applejack, but Rainbow Dash has some problems. Anyway, yeah, so Ocellus is like a perfected Fluttershy because she doesn't have like all the animal bullshit either. So it's like you exercise the hippie shit out of Fluttershy, and then you have Ocellus, which is great. Yona's also okay. I know James hates yaks. James wants to get rid of the yaks one way or another. But Yona is okay. She's the fact that she has the yak like petance of destruction, but it's in this like, you know, it's in this little like, no, well, not little, but it's just in this like boarding school girl like character is a little bit adorable. It's a nice back and forth. Who else? I like Gallus too. I like that he's like a tragic character. He's almost like the Cerberus Snape, where it's like, I just feel really fucking bad. Really, it's just the heartwarming episode. I feel really bad. You come from a really shit family, and it's just, I want to see you have friends and, you know, have happiness. And then Sandbar is like a nothing. I really don't like Sandbar because he has no character. He's like this void, and I feel like that's kind of like racist or something. But he's just like, he has no character. It's like I didn't even make the connection that he was supposed to be some kind of like surfer dude bra pony either. Like that's why his name is Sandbar. But I'm like, I got a much better vibe of that off of both Smolder and Silverstream are both more like, you know, like I got the impression that they were characters from from Rocket Power before I got from Sandbar. Oh my god. Yeah, Sandbar sucks. No one likes Sandbar. Who are the other children? Who are the other children? Ocellus, Smolder, Silverstream, Yona, Sandbar. Okay, we went through all the children. What were we talking about? Space. Why are we talking about ponies in space? That's right, the house always wins. Stellaris mod. What is the Stellaris mod? Is that like a New Vegas mod where he sends him to space? Really? I like that. Yeah, I gotta say, Mr. House kind of won me over with his big talking speeches. I'm like, you know, this literal unit, like, you know, he sealed himself up in this, like, you know, mini fridge in his closet. And he's like running this computer after having to reboot a couple of times over like 200 years. And he's got this robot army, but the robot army saves you. So it's like, okay, points for you. You know, your henchman was kind of an ass, but you did save me. Appreciate it. And then you're also not this like overly bureaucratic, like nonsense country of New California Republic. It's like, it has all the good and bad of modern America, which is kind of the point of them. I get it. So I think, you know, since that kind of led to the Great War in the first place, maybe we'll take a gamble with Mr. House, you know. Maybe it's not good to just recreate the civilization that helped end the world, you know. And obviously, you know, he's not Caesar's Legion, which is nonsense also. And he's not the Brotherhood of Steel, which is also nonsense. It's like, okay, let him have his rolling CRT televisions, and hey, look at that. They're maintaining freaking Vegas, baby. Vegas is awesome. And he wants to like fucking shoot people into space. He's both Howard Hughes and Elon Musk rolled into one. You just gotta plug a joint into his into his mini fridge, and he'll be awesome. Baggage, wow. The yaks are annoying. Yeah, the yaks are annoying. I'll be honest too, mixing Pinkie Pie with the yaks to give her something to do, that wasn't a positive. that didn't bring either characters up, it brought them both further down. 4 legs or 4 arms, is she an octopus? Yeah, I mean, leg and arm, it's kind of like, with these characters, especially with hippogriffs, I feel like you can very justifiably say they have 4 legs or, 2 arms, where everyone knows what you're talking about. But with ponies, the definition's a little bit blurred, and I admit I kind of blur them a bit in Confessions as well, kind of depending on the character talking. But it's like, there's a lot of scenes where the ponies kind of act bipedally, and they use their front hooves in a very human arm-like fashion where, they've got some kind of magnetic sticky jelly on their hooves and they can pick up stuff, like their spider pones or whatever. I mean, this is the whole show, and then you've got then you've got the Trixie and Starlight dance number where they're extremely bipedal. It's like, come on, man. If I say arms sometimes because I don't want to keep using legs or hooves, come on. Project Horizons went into space twice. Oh, did it? I didn't know that. Is that the moon base thing? Is that why Vermont and Moman tried to put a space stable into Terminal Secrets? Stellaris is a game. Oh, I didn't know that. Equestria Space Program. That's right. No banana jokes all in there. Wait, which opportunity did I waste? Moon, where Woona lives, yes. Maybe it's a concept in the making. No, it's a game. Equestria Space Program. Everyone wears a Nuka Girl jumpsuit. Oh. I gotta say, the Nuka Girl jumpsuit, it doesn't do it for me. I feel like it's a very poor design, personally. It's either go full skin tight bodysuit or go normal suit. It's it doesn't, if for the sake of showing a little bit of midriff, it doesn't make the accomplishment of making her more attractive, and it completely, destroys the function of having a spacesuit. So it's was the midriff worth it? No. Was the midriff well displayed? No. So I'm not a fan of the Nuka Girl jumpsuit. Now on ponies, that's something else. That might be adorable in the horse equivalent of the Nuka Girl jumpsuit. People put too much trust in the NCR. Yeah, it's the NCR. The NCR are just as much LARPers as Caesar's Legion. They're just LARPing a slightly less, less evil civilization. Yeah, Kerbal Space Program, that I've heard of as well. Oh my god, the chat is just going. Yeah, Mr. House is kind of like a technocrat. It's I hesitate to apply left to right to that kind of stuff, but yeah, Mr. House is unique for sure. Because, he's he's essentially like Ancapistan, right? He's a super libertarian. He's a super libertarian that happens to be super filthy rich, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And then, hey, as everyone else is bringing in the caps into Vegas, so he can keep playing with his super toys and, pursuing the edge of human civilization. I mean, he's essentially John Galt from fucking Atlas Shrugged. He's super civilization man, or robot fridge box guy. I'm still hoping in a future Fallout game we get either to explore Enclave satellites like was planned in Fallout Van Buren. Oof, that would be cool. There's gotta be. I mean, we already know about Archimedes 2 still floating up there doing fucking space laser things. There's gotta be one manned space station somewhere. You know what else is really like underplayed too is the Russian position in the Fallout universe. Like, did they essentially like switch sides of like the Soviet Union? Like, what did they do? They just sold off their nukes to China as China grew ever more powerful. Like, in every way, like, you know, except for manpower, Russia has every advantage to China. They have more natural resources. They have more, at least right now, more military, more nukes, more tech. China literally just has manpower, and that's it. So, and let's be honest, like, if you're landlocked with, you know, more people, it's like, what can you do? You know, force projection is much more powerful. But I love the original story of one of those original Fallout creators of where they were considering having, you know, classical Soviet Russia being the villain of the, or not villain per se. They were more, you know, they're more what's the right word? They're more not subtle, but like it wasn't black and white, you know, villain good. Anyway, they were gonna have Russia being the main antagonist of the war, but they like made a call, and this is like, you know, mid-90s Russia, which is completely Yeltsin post-Soviet collapse, and they said that everything was such like so corrupt and just run by like the Russian mafia that they're like, yeah, there's no way they could you know, they could become a real threat again. Or something like that. I'd have to rewatch that documentary, but it was an interesting take. But at the same time, it's like, this is a universe where they already diverged after 1945, so just have the timeline go where the Soviet Union doesn't collapse. Like, that's like a mainstay in especially cyberpunk fiction of just the Soviet, you know, it keeps on going, or like, you know, Roscom or one of their government corporations ends up becoming the government just in a more direct way than with like the American companies and the American government collapse. You know, that's classic fiction. They could have easily done that. It felt interesting that they would pivot it to China, but you know, at least it's keeping up with at least it's interesting. Yeah, a lot of Van Buren has gotten kind of put into other places in Fallout, but the game as a whole is a really, you know, it's not like Half-Life 3 obviously, but it is a very sad loss in terms of game concepts that, you know, died on the cutting room floor. No, what it was, we've discussed this on the podcast before, is there was an early idea where the Steel Ranger stable or something like it in episode 4, instead of Tinned Mint, they were going to have a stable on the moon for some reason, and I'll be honest, I was always against that. I always thought that would be kind of an odd choice, but, you know, obviously it didn't work out that way anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's see here. Stable designs on walls, and no one seemed to be a space station. And one seemed to be a space station. Celestia Astro Stable to mirror the Lunar Astro Stable. What? Yeah, that would be funny. Luna builds a stable on the moon, so Celestia builds one on the fucking sun. This is going to be the Zebra Stable. Yeah, honestly, that's what Bethesda could be doing with the World of Fallout, is filling out more of the backstory. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, what the hell did happen to Europe and South America and the Middle East and the rest of Asia that isn't China? And Russia, and the South Pacific Islands, and Australia, and New Zealand, and Antarctica. Like, did they all, like, die out just completely before the Fallout, like, Great War or whatever? Like, I know somewhat canon there is the there's the limited nuclear war of like the 2050s, where Europe is essentially like they're running bone dry on Arabian oil, and so eventually they have like a big nuclear war. So it's somewhat implied that both Europe and the Arabs, like Middle East area, nukes each other, and probably, you know, Israel's involved in that too, and they nuke some people, which is good. So I kind of feel like that's how those two regions are taken off the map, so to speak. But then you also have like all of sub-Saharan Africa, and you've got Australia. I mean, you could assume, well, Australia is one of the world's biggest uranium reserves, so you can assume that they probably get nuked by China. I guess you could assume like Japan and the Philippines and stuff are all within the American sphere of influence, so they probably all get nuked by China. I don't know, who does Russia nuke? Does Russia just nuke everyone? I really don't know. What is their official, like, what is their official piece? Maybe this could be a realistic assumption. Maybe in the Fallout world, China has control over much of southern Africa, and so they're the ones like mining the last of the uranium in like Namibia and stuff, where like, you know, Australia is under the U.S. influence, and maybe China, it's like a BRICS thing. Like maybe China has South Africa and all of the southern continent, and also maybe South America as well. So maybe they get nuked by like the American side nukes. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like all the little details building up to it, you know, matter. And then of course you could just pull the thing where it's like on the beach where they're all like cobalt bombs, so the entire atmosphere is just super poisonous and everything dies. But then at the same time, it's like there still would be some rebuilt civilizations. You'd have some ghouls, you'd have some survivors and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could breathe new, interesting life into the Fallout universe by taking it outside of the proper United States as well. And, you know, you could easily come up with lore explanations of, okay, everything became bipolar in the world after 2000 or after the new millennium, and this is already in an altered timeline, so, you know, you can make it so basically everyone speaks English or whatever, and, you know, they region translate these games anyway, but it's like you can make it make sense easily. I mean, you know, how much of the world speaks Spanish and English because of, you know, points of real life history, or Latin back in the Roman Empire and stuff. So, you know, it just, again, you know what all this breaks down to is just be fucking creative, write something interesting, and then put it in an interesting game. Fallout New Tokyo. That sounds exciting, you know? I mean, why not? You know, Japan could easily remilitarize and, like, post Article 9 and, you know. In a Fallout universe, obviously, that would be, like, the staging ground for a lot of American, like, nuclear weapons against China. And so, and especially with the history of, you know, Japanese and Chinese, you know, that would make a lot of sense, you know, a very remilitarized, not Imperial China or Imperial Japan, but, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, Vampirian was quite interesting. There's a lot of lore there that hasn't been fleshed out enough. Yeah, that's right. Soviet Union could go full Nat Bull. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bethesda really did kind of kill Fallout. Like, I guess I only got into Fallout in the Bethesda years, but I recognize that a lot of the really good lore is obviously from the old games. So, and that's why over time, as I've mined like the Fallout wiki and lore videos and stuff more and more, I've, you know, been able to absorb more of that. But yeah. In Fallout lore, Russia was dissolved and pretty much broke up into lots of little warring states long before the Great War. Okay, so essentially they have a Soviet total collapse where even the Russian Federation proper broke down into even smaller states. Okay, that makes sense. And also that would make sense in terms of who ended up with the nukes. Because you look at the actual Soviet Union and, you know, when that broke apart, like Kazakhstan and Ukraine, they had a shitload of nukes on their territory. They could have easily kept those. Like, could you imagine like these days if like Kazakhstan was the third most nuclear armed country in the world rather than China? That would be interesting. They would have a really serious sway on world politics if that were the case. That's also kind of the reason why I don't think North Korea is gonna disarm their nuclear weapons. I mean, it would really be the dumbest thing ever. Why would you ever give up nuclear weapons? That is the absolute deterrent of invasion for all countries. Of course, it's an all or nothing kind of deterrent, but still, the presence of nuclear weapons is kind of a big deal. You know, that's why every country wants them, more or less. That's why, you know, and some of them have good reason to want them too. You know, you get with. You got your Israels, you got your Irans. There's a lot of countries, like North Korea was invaded pretty heavily during the Korean War. I mean, I know it was kind of like, obviously it was a civil war where it's like half the faction was China puppet and Kim Il-sung is all like, you know, whatever, communist and whatnot. But it was the same with Vietnam and stuff. And it's like that they would probably felt a lot more community with China rather than the U.S., a totally opposite side of the world power. And also, South Korea wasn't exactly like instantly America. South Korea had a bit of a transition phase, so to speak, before becoming fully freedom, you know, democracy, and whatnot. It's interesting. That's all I'm saying. It's there's a lot of reasons why certain countries have certain politics. Yeah, that makes sense in a Fallout universe where Russia goes through a total collapse and China sort of marches into a lot of it and takes a lot of their nuclear weapons and stuff. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, womp womp for Canada. Canada's fucking, of course, like, honestly, realistically, the idea that Canada only gets annexed like a few years before the Great War, like, that's the unrealistic part. It would be much sooner than that. We're gonna annex Canada like freaking as soon as we can. That's gonna be awesome. Russia became more friendly with the U.S. Yeah, I mean, I guess what's left of it probably. If in like the assumption is like China takes over, like, you know, like a good chunk of the existing Russian arsenal, that would make sense. And then they sort of become like a UK where they've got like a decent arsenal, but it's just, you know, in pivot of the American, you know, of pillar or whatever. Did Fallout 76 rip off our stories? I hope so. The so-called Free States quest is almost verbatim EAST Corp. What does that mean? Yeah, I have a theory that Oxhorn watches us, or has at least seen one of our videos, because his Wasteland Survival Guide video came out a whole 6 months after our videos, and he just so happens to use the trash hand font for only the Wasteland Survival Guide videos. I find that hard to believe. Oxhorn, that was way before I discovered his videos. Very first time I saw that thumbnail, I was like, you wait a fucking second. So I wonder. And if that's true, Mr., you know, 100,000 sub channels, then you better give us a fucking shout out and send us some more people our way to sub and views and whatnot. Because I've watched plenty of hours of your shit too. Oh yeah, South Africa had a very small nuclear reserve, but admittedly it kind of went through a total government like reformation when it was giving it up. So it would be similar to that, where like in the Soviet collapse, you know, Kazakhstan and Ukraine, they were both getting brand new governments because they were, you know, both going out from the Soviet USSR governments, their CCCPs. So in those cases, they made like I mean, they got something out of the deal. Like I believe when Ukraine and Kazakhstan traded their nukes back to the Russian Federation, they got like I want to say it was like not reparations, but like some kind of money or some kind of international like trade bonuses, like a Marshall Plan kind of thing. I don't know. It's they got something out of it. I mean, obviously, both countries got treated kind of shittily by Russia during the Soviet days. So, all I'm saying is that if I were the premier of Ukraine or Kazakhstan during the 90s, I would not have fucking given up those nuclear arsenals. I would have hardened it, pointing them in all directions, and be like, don't fuck with us. We're on our own country now. No more of this bullshit. Oof. Especially Kazakhstan. They went through some serious crap under the Soviet Union. The Free States were set up by a guy and his daughter and didn't trust Vault-Tec, so they built their own company and bunkers and technology and etc. Ooh, that's kind of neat. That sounds very Duchess horror-y. See, I mean, I based the name EAST Corp on West Tech, obviously, and some of the concepts that they're essentially the little-known major, like, defense company in the Fallout universe. But a lot of the specifics are, pulled from other areas and other concepts. Oh, haha. And when the player finds the bunkers, all that's left are robots and dead bodies. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, why would any of them trust the Brotherhood of Steel? They're kind of crazy. It was like a whole bunch of people in like robotic suits and be like, "Hey, I know we just had a big nuclear war, but you need to give us all your super important technology." It's like, but wait, mister, I kind of want to use some of this to help us rebuild, because we kind of just had a nuclear war too. No, you need to give us all of your technology, because we're the Brotherhood of give us shit. No. It's like, yeah, why would anyone accept those terms? I mean, the Brotherhood, they don't even offer like, okay, we'll build you a farming settlement if you give us your stuff, or we'll have you under our protection if you give us your stuff. It's like, no, they're just scrappers, and they don't care how many people they crush in the meantime. If you do all the quests, you find out that it was a senator and his daughter that set up the Free States. Oh, that's interesting. The Brotherhood of Steel took food from the responders and the Free States to help them in order... Oh, so the Brotherhood did give food to the responders and Free States to help them fight the Scorched? Interesting. Or not. I'm seeing conflicting information. Okay, yeah, I know nothing about those, so that's interesting. Oh, the Brotherhood were fighting the Scorch, so they had to take food from the responders and Free States, but they didn't like it. They hated being dependent on those. That's interesting. Isn't the lore of the Scorch basically that it's like just a Scorch virus that just slowly started eating all of them? Because it's like a fungus, right? But it turns them into like petrified radioactive fungus like statues, right? Isn't that how it goes? It's like a fungus that just like spreads like smallpox or whatever. No one except the Brotherhood knew about the Scorched. See, I feel like there is interesting lore there, but again, it's like I just gotta wait for the lore videos, I guess. The senator's daughter is the one who created the scorched detectors. Interesting. I mean, that would kind of make sense too, because especially in like the real world, you think of like if the senator were like happen to be head of like, you know, the Armed Services Committee or Foreign Affairs or something really important, like especially in American politics, the like all these Senate committees and rules have a lot of really interesting sway. So all you got to do is get a caucus on your side, and yeah, you got your own private defense company doing its own shit. The current theory is that the virus comes from the green mushrooms, which were only underground, and then soon the bats get infected, and they mutate and turn into big-ass scorched beasts. But then that affects the people, right? So then eventually so is the idea that the giant scorched beast bats spread it to the surface, and so then when the people come in contact with the mushrooms, they slowly petrify and turn into, some of them petrify, and then others turn into the scorched ghouls. The responders were dissecting the scorched beasts in the airport. Yeah, I know, the Skyrim beasts. Yeah, the reskinned dragons. See, I had to Google that. I was like, what airports are in West Virginia? Apparently there is Charleston, Clarksburg, Tri-State and Huntington, and Morgantown Municipal. But that's like kind of a tinier one. Apparently Yeager is West Virginia's gateway. That's Charleston. And then you got Northwest Virginia in... where is it? Benedum. Clarksburg. Fairmont. And then you got Tri-State Airport, which is sort of like on a corner of West Virginia and Kentucky and what's the third state? Ohio. Okay. Interesting. And then Morgantown's kind of a tiny little, like, specific use airport. Okay, that had me curious. The plain ones. Well, the theory on what that is the mushrooms and ultracite rocks mutated. Okay, so it's the ultracite rock, like the mushrooms mutated from the radiation mixing with the ultracite rocks, I guess, and that creates scorched. Ultracite plus mushrooms equals scorched. We're almost at 3 hours. Sweet. What if the Tree of Harmony is the scorched? The Tree of Harmony is live, and it's ultracite rocks, and it's where's damn it? Where's the there we go. The Tree of Harmony is the ultimate scorched beast. Yeah, that is the biggest black pill. Is the worst part of 76 is all the lost opportunity. I know. I heard someone describe the fact that if they would just make the setup for Fallout 76 the actual game, where you have the Brotherhood fighting and the responders and this advent of the Scorch, that would have been a much better game than just walking through the ashes, which is a really good explanation. Fallout 76 is like... it's like Fallout 3 after you've done all the main quest and conquered the Enclave, and you're just kind of walking around the map being like, yep, used up all the main quests. Okay, wait. So any creature that is infected with the green mushrooms needs the ultracite rocks on them to allow them to move away from the caves in which the mushrooms and rocks are located in the cranberry area. So the ultracite rocks are the only thing that keeps them from completely petrifying and turning into like the brown, like just tap them and they explode things? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, it's interesting. All right, let's just fucking go to the wiki. We probably should have done this 10 minutes ago. The scorch plague is caused by a fungus found underground in Appalachia in 2102. Research logs by Arthkos Pharma seem to suggest that the scorch plague was created by them before the war. Whether it was designed as a bioweapon or accidentally created as a byproduct of other experiments is currently unknown. The scorch plague is spread by a fungus found underground in Appalachia. It is spread to the surface by the scorch beasts and was influential in creating the scorch shed, causing the crystalline green growth in the latter. So the ultracite is the byproduct of the plague, it looks like. It's like how certain diseases give you like really creepy warts, or like the guy with the wood hands or whatever. The plague is responsible for the destruction in one way or another of almost every human faction that exists in Appalachia. Damn it. Damn it, Bethesda. Highly contagious, mutagenic, fungal pathogen infected almost all West Virginians' human population. Turned them into the Scorched, being similar to feral ghouls and retain enough presence of mind to wield weapons and also wear armor to assault uninfected humans unfortunate enough to cross their paths. The creatures infected with the plague will not be hostile toward other infected creatures. Plague is also responsible for mutating the local pygmy bat population into scorched beasts. Giant bat creatures who, having overpopulated the underground cabins, have spread to the surface. Scorch plague also infected other species of local wildlife, but hasn't mutated them anywhere near to the extent of the scorch beasts, such as mole rats, wolves, feral ghouls. At least in humans, the scorch plague continues to grow inside the infected, causing the ultracite growths to cut through their skin and eventually overtaking the host, killing them. Okay, so it's like, I guess it's kind of Last of Us kind of feel, where it's like eventually the ultracite just keeps building and building until they just completely die and freeze up. Scorch plague also seems to become symbiotic with the scorch beasts because the beasts retain their individuality while other creatures become part of a hive mind, connecting them to the beasts and giving the beasts the ability to control infected beings to some extent. Interesting. Oh, here we go. The monsters. Let's see. How do they describe what the monsters are? Opossums. I kind of want to Google too, now that we're here on the wiki. The mole people. Or what is it? The miner people. What are they called? Miner hat, Fallout 76. You know what I'm talking about? What are they? Bloodwings equals Scorch Beasts? Not exactly, I don't think. I feel the only good way Fallout 76 could have worked is if they would have gone a more of a Halo 3 ODST route. Best way they could have done it. Mind control is prevalent when you're fighting the Scorch Queen and a whole bunch of Scorch creatures come in to defend. Oh yeah, that's it. Mole men. Yes. Yeah, what the fuck are the mole men? I don't think they even have an article page. Is it mole miner, maybe? Oh, yeah, mole miner. Okay. Mole miner are creatures in Appalachia in 2102. Prisoners in their decaying mining clothes, the mole miners are workers and miners that were formerly human in various mining Appalachias. Having mutated because of radiation or the scorch plague, or perhaps both, they would appear to have infused in some ways with mole rat DNA, supported by the rats among their mole rat teeth among their drops of loot and their perfect friendship with them. They are frenzied and beefy. They're frenzied and beefy fighters who will attack anything they perceive as a threat. Biology: once human, the mole miners, in one way or another, have degenerated into creatures with curvy and sturdy limbs. The degeneration was accompanied by loss of vocalization, language, and communication, down into grunts and throaty calls. Clearly endowed with strength, but capable of handling heavy weapons such as missile launchers and shotguns with precision. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, the other interesting thing about that, too, is the, one reason why mole rats are so, like, a part of the Fallout universe in general is because they do have some freaky biology where they're, like, cancer resistant and stuff like that. It's very interesting. The Savage Divide. The Monaga, the power plants. Oof. I gotta say, it's really interesting how thin the wiki is, where it's like some people don't even care to fill out the information. Scourge Beasts are creatures in Fallout of 76. It's like essentially they just like it seems like people fill it in just to like fill out the stats so you know what the fuck you're doing, I guess. Fissure Site Prime. Beckley, Abandoned Mine Shaft 2, Watoga. Oh, Ultracite has value? That's kind of fucked up. Hey, you want to buy some of this disease person like crystalline, wart? Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'll pay you 25 caps for that. Ew, that's really fucked up. Ultracite ore can be processed at the chemistry station into ultracite scrap. Fissure sites. Ultracite appears to have similar characteristics to coal, as Poseidon Energy Plant West Virginia 06, formerly a coal-burning power plant, was easily retrofitted to burn ultracite fuel. Well, I mean, coal is essentially, certain, like, carbons and stuff. So if ultracite comes from people are also, like, carbons and stuff. So, yeah, I'm sure you can turn that into coal. Oh, here we go. Flatwoods Monster. Speaking of monsters... They haven't categorized under Fallout 4 creatures. Flatwoods Monster is a humanoid creature with seemingly extraterrestrial origin. Its head is encased in a purple space helmet, which obscures its face, save for its glowing white eyes. The rest of the body is sealed in a protective suit. It has an armored breathing apparatus and large spade-like shape frill on its back. Flatwoods Monster has no visible legs, its suit instead terminating into a bullet-shaped point at the bottom, which appears to have hover jets around its waist, allowing it to float off the ground. It has tipped large two-fingered hands and appears to have large gloves. It can be random encountered, and it is possible for it to spawn alongside the Mothman. Interesting. I do like the design for Flatwoods Monster. It's a neat design. A lot of these are neat designs, which is, again, It's like some people gave a shit. Some people in this game did care. But a lot of other people, it seems like they didn't quite know what they wanted to do. In West Virginia folklore, the Mothman is a Mothman. Yes, it is. Grafton monster. Okay. Grafton monsters are creatures found in Appalachia in 2102. Grafton monsters are the result of course, FEV experiments on human test subjects. Most likely that West Tech were the ones having done these experiments, as they have experimented with FEV before in West Virginia with the creation of super mutants and snallygasters? What? Grafton monster is a huge hulking monster which limits its ability to maneuver in tight spaces, generally be hostile towards the nearby creatures as well as the players. Gigantic hairless gray creature, disproportionately large upper torso and arms, stubby legs, enormous three-fingered fists. Its head is non-distinct, seemingly tucked beneath the bulk of its shoulder muscles. It is noticeable, however, and it does take effort to spot the head, making headshots more difficult. Gameplay attributes: it can stun the player for a few seconds. Also, it will launch a black liquid projectile, or throw giant rocks similar to super mutant behemoths. The huge shoulder of the Grafton monster is one of its weaker points. Yeah, it's a gross looking thing, that's for sure. Snallygaster is another FEV shit. In the West Tech Research Center near Huntersville. Advanced Mutations Lab Phase 2 project. Introduction of FEV, this number, originally dubbed M52. Experiment was noted as a success on October 14th, 2077. Guess not. Quadrupedal creature with some really fucked up stuff. Okay, anyway. Back to the chat. What was chat going on about? ODST, Mind Control, Momen. Worst timing for a live stream since I gotta go to bed already. I do hope there's another real soon. Yeah, you can listen back through this. It's been pretty fun, and we will see when our next live stream is. Trying to rationalize Bethesda's incompetence is an exercise in futility. Can someone blow up Bethesda? They're such a shitty company. Yeah, it's really sad. I feel like 76's lore was half-assed. Yeah. Well, I mean, that goes back to Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 as well, you know, cramming in super mutants and excuses and stuff. And I get it from marketing standpoint, but it's like you gotta keep going with more new interesting stuff as well. Fallout 76's lore is mostly stolen, copy-pasted, yeah. Older games, no effort made to fit it all together. And that's the other thing too, is you gotta try to make it all cohesive. Yeah, of course, I'm going off based on what I've heard. I haven't played it. I think that's most of us. Redundancy offices in a redundancy. Mount Hope, where I lived from 92 to 07, is 8 miles from Beckley. Nice. I mean, I like the Appalachian area. It's a very, very nice. I drove through there when I left Virginia, and it's when I left normal Virginia, coastal Virginia, and no, I like the Appalachian Mountains. It's very nice up there. Very scenic. I don't like that for a game though. I don't play Fallout for like nice rolling green hills. I want my fucking bombed out nuclear hellscape. It's too green. Same with Fallout 4. It's too fucking green. I immediately got a mod to turn that shit brown. I want I want my orange-colored skies. You've been to Flatwoods many times, but never saw the Flatwoods creature? That sucks. That feels like a blue ball. In Fallout 4, they fuck up their own lore and say ghouls don't need to eat, but you can get ghoul settlers that need food and water. Yeah, I mean, I have to give them props because the building and settlement system was at least like probably the best creative new thing in Fallout 4. That at least it extended more life of the game for me, but it was the recording goes a couple people talking about how the war in China was still raging in 2078 and how civilization was still very prevalent. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that even with a total nuclear exchange, you are going to have places all over the place that are still like somewhat functional. Like, it's not like, all the people went into the vaults and immediately sealed and then just disappeared for 25 years. Like, you're in constant communication and there's all the military bunkers and stuff. Like, it wouldn't be really like an immediate light switch so much as all the military stuff slowly figuring out what the fuck they're gonna do now. Like, that's why I tried to get across in the Ranger, where it's like, okay, they are in a really isolated area down in Thunder Valley, but then as soon as they lose radio contact, it's like, oh shit, what do we do? And so, it's like spending months just trying to raise radio and can't hear anyone, so like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to go outside eventually, and little by little, colonizing and rebuilding and forming a government and all that stuff. So it's like, it's just what you gotta do when you're isolated. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I remember the mod names, because I'm mostly a filthy console peasant. So it was when Fallout 4 mods first started really getting going, and so I downloaded quite a few different things and just got them to finally work right in a stable manner. So I forget what exact mod I have. I think it's the True... No, it's not the True Storms mod. I do have the True Storms mod, but it's something that I can't turn on and off in the game itself, I don't think. It turns like the sky like a yellowish, and a lot of the ground becomes more brown. It's like it's almost like it kind of looks more like the pit than anything. So, it's interesting. Yeah, the settlement system was kind of made just to capitalize on like the Minecraft and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I felt like that was one of the few things that I guess I'm just judging it based on how it engaged me, and I guess it was enough of a like screwy side thing that I was like, it's kind of annoying the first few times where they force you to do it, but once I got the hang of it, it was like I kind of had fun with it. But then again, I also have a mod with the rule breakers, where there's a whole bunch of raw materials right at the beginning in Vault 11. So I'm not really like, not want for anything. It's just getting a high enough level where you can build the thing that you need to build. So I'm not running around actually looking for every last drop of adhesive I can find. So maybe that's why I enjoy it more, is because of the mod. That's essentially my approach to Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the 90s and early 2000s, as well as I had Roller Coaster Tycoon like Soaring Heights or whatever. It was like the first expansion pack on the base game, and in there it had something called Arid Heights, I want to say, which was like a giant map that had nothing you could like make use of existing, but it's one big flat desert map, and it had no cost limit, so you could build as much as you want, as big as you want, and it was just like no achievements or whatever. And that's basically what I did in Roller Coaster Tycoon. I just built the heck out of that map several times, and then killed everyone, and no one went to my theme park, and I started a new game. It's so great. So great. Yeah, I do have to hand it to Fallout 4 for that. It gave more definition to the random scrap. Like doing a recent playthrough of Fallout 3 and like gathering things and deciding like, is this one of those pieces of the rail like rifle that I need to build or not? And then it's like as soon as you don't have certain pieces, it's like, okay, I don't care then. Yeah, Fallout 4, it made all the scrap more, I guess, recyclable. Yeah, the stream has gone on a while. I feel like I think we'll wind down now. Also, Bethesda stole ideas from mods. Yeah, I know. Obviously, Bethesda is reaping richly in the rewards of the various mods, but yeah, no, we'll wrap it up now. I would like to thank all of you for joining us in this wonderful transition into 2019. It's going to be a good year for EAST Corp. This is our third year as EAST Corp. We officially formed in 2016. Oh my god. 2017 we had the Ranger, and we had the initiation of Wasteland Survival Guide. We had Hunger as well right off the bat, and then in the latter half we had the because those were both right away in like January, and so then later in the year we had the Ice Mare and Tinned Mint, and then in 2018 we had a wonderful year of launching Untypical, and then a whole bunch of Wasteland Survival Guides, some more, and I mentioned the Ice Mare already. And then the Mercenary and Awake, which I think is definitely was a strong pillar of Terminal Secrets. And once again, right after New Year, we're on the brink of launching a bunch of big stuff. So we're gonna have finally the launch of Terminal Secrets finale and the acclaimed, soon to be critically acclaimed documentary, The Great Experiment, on the story of Stable Text Studios. And hopefully June or July, we will have Confessions 8, and then hopefully by December, the Confessions finale. We will see. I'm going to try to do them both this year. $2 from Sketchy Rivet. Happy New Year and happy third year of EAST Corp. Thank you. We appreciate all of our fans. We do this because it's fun and we love it, and we're glad that other people have fun with it too. And we hope to keep entertaining them as much as we have fun crafting these creative expressions ourselves. Yeah, not 3 years, but I guess third year. So we're like 2 years of EAST Corp and then a couple of months. But yeah, it's been quite a ride. And I think we've all gotten much better at writing and everything as well. So it should be, especially after having gone through the Terminal Secrets finale myself, I think it's a very strong conclusion. And it will be my foray in 2019 to make sure that Confessions has an even stronger conclusion. So we'll see what happens. Okay. That's good. Good time. Happy 2019, everyone. And we will see you next time on EAST Corp Productions.